Come on then. Today would be nice.
One TV.
Gareth Southgate's fourth major tournament as manager begins in Gelsenkirchen against a Serbia team making its first ever Euros appearance as an independent nation. It's England's 11th appearance at the Euros. No team has played as many matches in the tournament without winning it. And this is how things stand in Group C. After Denmark drew with Slovenia 1-1 this afternoon, you can watch those goals on the BBC Sport website and app. Mikey Richards, Rio Ferdinand and Cesc Fabregas join us. We'll hear from them in a moment, but first here's the England team selected by Gareth Southgate. Goalkeeper Pickford has 9 clean sheets at major tournaments, one short of a record for the Three Lions. Shaw is not fit yet, so it's Trippier at left back, while Gehi partners Stones at centre back. With this just the third England game they've started together. The central midfield place up for grabs goes to Alexander-Arnold, who makes his European Championship debut alongside Rice. Attacking midfielders Saka, Bellingham and Foden have been in scintillating form, scoring a combined total of 70 club goals this season. Kane has also been prolific, of course, for Bayern Munich and will be looking to add to his tally of 12 goals at World Cups and Euros. Let's hear from Declan Rice. He's with Kelly Summers.
Well, Dec, you've had to wait a couple of days, but finally England's opening game. Having seen some of the other big nations put in big performances, how much do England need to make a statement here tonight?
I think the most important thing in any opening game of tournament football is to win. I think that's been the total objective since we landed in Germany, is to get here, have a great week's training, preparation, and know that we have to win the game. Because we've done that in previous tournaments, and that's the full goal tonight. You know, we're not looking at other nations thinking that they're great results. We're just focusing on ourselves, knowing that a result tonight will put us in a good position after one game.
It's only the 4th time you'll have started in midfield alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold. Tell us how that relationship and dynamic will work.
Yeah, we've actually had so many good conversations just between the two of us this week. I think you're going to see a different side to Trent. I think he's raring to go. Not a lot of people would see this, but he's got so much energy and enthusiasm when he plays in midfield. He loves to get around the pitch. I'll be speaking to him, being disciplined, and yeah, I think it's going to be a midfield trio that fans can be excited about. But of course, the defensive side, the attacking side, we need to be on it for 90 minutes because we're up against a tough side tonight.
Yeah, you said there about attacking trio. Tell us how it will work.
We just need to be fluid. You know, we look at the players that we've got on the pitch. You know, the manager's given us all the foundations, and I always say it's now down to the players to take to the pitch and perform. This is the biggest stage. You know, everyone in the team's had great seasons. Some players have won massive trophies. It's now about taking that now into this summer and into this game tonight.
Best of luck with it.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's become a real leader of the England side as Declan Rice, and it is interesting, and that's probably the headline news, isn't it, from the starting lineup. Trent Alexander-Arnold alongside Declan Rice. He's often been accused, hasn't he, of being slightly cautious, but that's anything but, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've always said that it's been cautious because you normally play 2 central defensive midfielders there. Calvin Phillips, that was his job to defend, and they wasn't allowed to kind of go and be a bit free, whereas Trent he's got a freedom. You can see just in the way he plays, it's natural for him to be able to be a bit loose, and he's passing from that area is really going to have to change things. But there's a real nice confidence there and a belief. But the training they seem to have done behind closed doors definitely gives that confidence.
I think it's bold. I think it's brilliant. I think exactly what England needed. I think, like Rio said, sometimes you can be a bit negative with the way we set up, but the passing range of Trent is extraordinary. I'd love to just see him get on the ball with that confidence, bursting through. I think we talk about his passing as well, but he's quite quick in the way he can glide past people as well. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Sesky's got passing range a little bit like yourself, so he's
well, he's got this fluidity. What I love about him, and it's a trait that I love for every midfield player, is he plays forward. You know, he does it with so much ease. You know, he picks up balls from midfield deep, a bit higher positions. He's not afraid to get onto the ball, make things happen, and I think players in front of him will love to have him in behind today.
Yeah. It's a bold starting lineup, but Rio, you would possibly go even bolder, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm sat here and not in the dugout. But I would have been a bit more bold and yeah, that's how I would have played out of possession, far at the back, Declan on his own. Because it's not a top nation we're playing against, I don't think he's going to be
change if it was France or something.
If it was France, I'd maybe change that. But it's in possession, where I think you go to a three at the back. Walker's more central. He's the cheat code at the back there. Stones jumps into midfield. He does that at Man City, pushes right a little bit further forward, and Bellingham a bit closer to the forward line, what he's used to doing as well. But I don't know. It's easy for us to sit here, and we're all going to be doing that at the pubs at home, etc., and like we are here. But when you're in the hot seat, I'm sure you'd say it's a bit different than being like you're just throwing players here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, but I think the job of a manager is to make sure that everyone feels comfortable in every position. And I think what you just mentioned in here and showed us everyone, that is that everyone in this role have done it in their clubs. You know, it's not something new, something to experiment, because it's the first game of a big tournament. It's a big game to win the first 3 points, to start off well. And I think it's a good lineup. We're talking about positivity, and this shows a big one.
Seth, we were chatting earlier, and you made comparisons with the 2008 Spanish team. That was the one that first won the Euros when you went on a winning run. That's quite high praise.
I do, and I feel really confident that this team has so much talent and quality to achieve big things in the future. And not only in the future, I still believe that for this tournament as well. But when you look at all the talent and all the profiles of players that you have in this team nowadays, it's just fantastic. Now it's easy to say, oh yes, you are talking about the team for Iniesta, Xavi, Torres, David Villa, Silva. Yes, but before that, we were at the same stage as you guys are right now, and it just takes one good performance to get into the mood. You know, they get confident, they start winning games, the crowd and the country starts believing, and you win that tournament, and I think it can be the start of
I'm going to get carried away, I think.
Don't go too early. Don't go too early, Rio. Calm down.
I'm an emotional fan.
we know it's something that kills you. We know that. And there have been injury problems, particularly at the back. And the left back, Luke Shaw's not quite ready. Trippier's got that role. He's more natural on the right-hand side, of course. Do you see that perhaps creating one or two problems?
A little bit. I think there was an imbalance in the team in the friendly against Iceland, and I just want to show you a few clips here of Trippier getting into really good positions. We know he's good defensively, but a left footer puts that in. Okay, you want Kane to run in there, and he's got two opportunities to put in there. He doesn't, and then he just comes out, recycles the ball because he's right-footed. If he was left-footed, if Shaw was in there, it would have been the difference. This side with Kyle Walker, he's normally playing like a free at the back, like Rio said, but when he goes forward, can he get into Harry Kane early doors? It doesn't happen. They recycle the ball, and what happens? Iceland get back with their numbers. When he went high, we don't want Kyle Walker in this position. We want him where John Stones is, where he can protect. He's the best at one-on-one defending. Iceland 4v3, and he will get punished. Against Serbia tonight, they've got quality players, and if you give them time and space, they will hurt you. And I've just got a couple of more examples. This is like Kyle Walker at Spurs. He would burst into space, but for some reason, he just didn't have the confidence. He slowed it down. What to do? Recycle the ball once again. Iceland get the numbers back. And if we want to win the game tonight, we have to move the ball quicker. I think the difference tonight is, in this game, there was Gordon's on the ball now. We've got Foden who's playing left. So when he's in these positions, we need a left footer. You see Trippier here. He's not even looking to open up his body to get on his left foot. He's recycling the ball. And I just think today, if we're going to get into them positions, we have to move it quicker. And especially with Foden down that left-hand side.
I think it's Good points you make there, Mike. But I also think is that it's interesting to see which fullback he's allowed to go. Do you need one fullback to go and maybe one more predominantly in the other? I agree with what you're saying there. Mike, Carl Walker is the cheat code at the back. You've got to leave him there and just let him stay and then let
he will get back to something that's not working, he'll be there always.
Serbia have a distinct threat. I mean, they score goals, they concede goals as well, but they're big, Mike.
No, they're massive. They're really, really big. And I mean, you know, the average is 6.2. I mean, look at the size of them. And they're really dangerous on crosses and set pieces as well. So that's something we have to look out for. And they've gone with 2 up top as well. So you know what their game plan is. Get the ball wide as soon as possible and get crosses into the box. You know Stokovic, don't you?
Dragon, their coach, I actually played with him at Grand State. When I say played, I watched him most of the time because I was
on the bench, was he?
Yeah, no, I was injured. Most of the time I was there. He actually went on to coach Grand State latterly as well, quite successfully. He's a great guy, very effervescent, great big personality, loves attacking football, so it could be open. Ria, you might just want to look away for a few seconds. We're taking you back to 2006 and England's last trip to Gelsenkirchen. The home of FC Schalke hosted the World Cup quarter-final defeat against Portugal and brought to an end the era of Sven-Göran Eriksson. Eriksson, who revealed not long ago that he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer, reached 3 consecutive quarter-finals but fell just short on each occasion.
Right under the nose of the referee. It's red! He's set Romeo! Oh, Ricardo saves! This for the semi-finals for Portugal. He's done it! England are out of the World Cup. And this will be Sven-Göran Eriksson's last game in charge of the England team.
When you have the job, you feel physically that you have 65 million people pushing you. Come on, Sven. That makes it incredible. You want to be remembered because of the football we played and the results we did.
Could it be 5? Yes, it is! Listen to this. Germany won, England 5.
But now, I think England has a big chance because I can see they have a lot of good football players, good goal scorers, which is very important when they go to a big tournament. If I think about the fans, they always treated me extremely well. I loved it every day, and that's a beautiful time.
They said you have cancer. They can't operate it. We will give you treatment, medicine, to live as long as possible, of course. When you get a message like that, I think you appreciate every day. You are happy when you wake up in the morning and you feel okay. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we wish you well, Sven. We really do. What was he like to play for, Ria?
A wonderful human being. I think first and foremost, as a man, the way he used to interact with the players and talk to you, there was no kind of treatment or ill treatment of the players. It was very, very humble, very kind of direct, and just a really nice man. I always left with no matter what happened on the football pitch, it was like you'd always finish it with, but I like him. Just really likeable human being.
You played for him too at Manchester City, of course.
Oh, he was
How
amazing.
did you find him?
He just lit up the room. Yeah. I remember at the time I was going through a difficult time. He was staying in a hotel, went up to a room, was there for about 5 hours, reassuring me of my place in the team, and anything I needed, I could always talk to him. So, what a guy.
Yeah, lovely. Steve McLaren, Fabio Capello, Roy Hodgson and Sam Allardyce briefly all followed in the footsteps of Sven. But it was only when Gareth Southgate took charge that England's fortunes began to change. Southgate moves ahead of Bobby Robson today and will reach 100 matches in charge if his team make it to the quarter-finals, following in the footsteps of Walter Winterbottom and Sir Alf Ramsey, who remains the only other England manager to lead the men's team to a major tournament final.
You like the level? Or would you like me to say that that's slightly high? No problem. It's given me a bit of thinking time.
We're all happy here, so on your own time.
Since I was a young kid, the only thing I wanted to do was play football for England.
I would expect any player that pulls on an England shirt to give everything.
Football is never easy. We've got to be prepared to dig in and show the pride of playing for England.
There's nobody standing in front of us applying pressure. Pressure is the noise that's around you and whether you choose to allow that noise to affect you.
Have you erased those memories?
I have, but nobody else has.
Games from years ago don't mean anything, so I haven't discussed that with them at all.
It's part of my life. It's something I still wouldn't change because I think it made me a stronger person.
Huge responsibility on his young shoulders.
It would be fabulous to put that behind me in some way by doing something positive. I'm not looking for sympathy, but I want to help us to win a major championship.
The most important thing to control is the voice in their own head. We've achieved lots of firsts in this last few years.
England's history makers into the final of a major tournament for the first time in 55 years.
It's important for these players to recognise that. I think everybody knows we've got some really exciting players. I think there's always expectation with England. You need stability, you need experience. We also have to evolve the team and go with players that are in form as well. That's, for me, what it's all about. What can this group of players go on and do?
Can you win it?
There's no reason to believe that we aren't as good as the rest of Europe, as the rest of the world. We're here to come back as a successful team, and I don't mean success in the way it's been conceived in the past by getting knocked out in the quarter-final.
England's World Cup is over.
We all firmly believe that we've got enough in the squad to bring the trophy home.
How close are we to achieving something special?
Well, the next one is always the best chance. This is about the team we have now and their opportunity to create history.
Brad, your Euros starts here. Do you get the sense of just how big a tournament this could be for both you and England?
Yeah, it's a fantastic challenge, isn't it? We're excited watching the games that have been already played, and of course now we have the chance to put our mark down, and yeah, we're raring to go.
Headline team uses Trent Alexander-Arnold, starts in midfield. What will that give England?
A different passing option. I think that he's obviously got a fantastic range. Looks like we're playing against the back five, so not so much space at times to be able to break the opposition down, and he'll give us a different option to the other attacking players we have.
Yeah, you mentioned the other attacking players. It's the first time we've seen Jude Bellingham since he won the Champions League. How do you see him operating in that role?
As he normally does, you know, he finds spaces well. He's obviously got fantastic individual talent, and this season especially he's found the right moments to arrive in the box and being really clinical with his finishing, so he just has to keep doing what he's been doing.
As for Serbia, you described them as a dangerous opponent in your opening game. What do you need to be wary of?
Well, clearly their forward players are very good players. They get numbers forward early, and they're a well-organised team who mix their game up between being able to play and pass the ball, but also they go longer, so you have to deal with everything.
So that's nice.
Thank you.
England were comfortable winners of their qualifying group, finishing ahead of Italy and Ukraine. Penalty shootouts excluded, they've lost just one of their last 18 games in the Euros. That was against Iceland in 2016. Penalties cost them in 2012 and, of course, in 2020 or 2021. As it obviously is. Cesc, you're obviously going through this transition period from going from a player to be a manager. I understand you spoke to Gareth for a bit of advice about it.
Yeah, when we were doing the pro license at St. George's, I had the chance. He came to give us like a little speech, talk about leadership, etc. And I was cheeky a little bit, you know, to ask him for advices and to have a chat for him for 5 minutes. Obviously, he went through a similar transition. He coached players that were his mates, his friends, and it happened the same thing to me. So I just wanted, you know, a couple of advices. What shocks me the most is his humility. He's a proper man. He always talks with honesty. He wants the best for England. You can see when he talks about it, he really feels it from his heart. And you know, I think for now, for these young players, he's a great man to have in charge.
What was it like going from playing with your teammates and then managing them? How did you find that?
Well, it's tough because the relationship change. You need to create a little bit of a break between you and your friends or your mates, in that case, your teammates. And you are the one that takes decisions. You are the one that now decides if they play or they don't play. So, you know, the relationship dramatically changed. But, you know, if you have it with humility and with respect, everything is achievable.
So you've changed that. So you used to go having a bit of banter and flying about with your teammates, and now you were doing like throwing pizzas and stuff like that before. now you chilled out. Yeah.
Is that true stories in the pizzas?
I don't remember.
What was the topic?
What was a margarita with?
We spoke last night, we were talking amongst us about Bobby Robson and Terry Venables, how revered they are and how much affection that the public has for them. It's not necessarily the case for Gareth, even though probably he's had slightly more success over the period of time with England. Do you think he's underappreciated?
I think he's underappreciated. I think the work that he's done and where he's taken England from when he took over to where they are now, it's a huge jump. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for that. And I think maybe just because he has that charisma that the previous guys you mentioned had, Bobby Robson.
Yeah.
These guys had ridiculous charisma, so they become more likeable. But listen, if he wins...
Yeah. I'd also say that at the time things were very different. When they were actually managing, that going into 86, going into 90, Bobby Robson got terrible stick. And it's maybe that will come with time, Mario.
Yeah, I think it will come with time, but I think it comes with him being bold, leaving Grealish at home, leaving Rashford. We will probably all have Grealish in our squad, and maybe fans will just think he's a little bit safe. That's what I would say, but he's done a brilliant job. He really has. Harvey in the squad has been brilliant. Just now, with this emerging talent, if you could just bring it home.
There we go. That's banned. That's bad luck, that thing. Don't say it. Up to 40,000 England fans are expected in Gelsenkirchen. I think one of them's even found his way into the commentary box. Let's get a word with Euro 96 Golden Boot winner, Alan Shearer. Alan, thoughts on the team, the starting lineup?
Yeah, he's gone very positive. That's what a lot of people have been shouting for. The people also were saying about he had to leave players out of the squad who were his go-to guys over the years, who perhaps weren't in form. He's done that. And he's also named a very, very positive team. And he's got some great players who have had great seasons on the bench if it's not working for that 11.
Yeah, it's really important to get off to a good winning start, isn't it?
Yeah, when you look at the teams that have played over the last few years, then it's Germany and Spain and Italy, certainly in the first half, and Holland, they've all got decent results. So, yeah, absolutely, it's always good to get off to a good start. As a centre forward, you want the goals. And
Volume 20.
Midfield combination, Alan.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, what has to happen, particularly
Volume 20.
Towards the ball all the time because of his passing range. One or two also have to go over the top, which because he can find them, there's no doubt about that. So I'm excited about that midfield.
Yeah. Any concerns in terms of the Serbian deception?
Well, we know what they're good at. They're good at crosses. Mitrovic needs and demands crosses. You want to fight you in the box, so you've got to try and stop the ball before it actually gets in there. That's their strength.
It looks like you've got a good view, Alan. Enjoy the game.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. But face the other way. Here is the Serbia team. There's a bit of a surprising goal with Mallorca keeper Rajkovic winning his first competitive cap for 2 years. 6'5" tall defender Milenkovic began all of Serbia's games at the last 2 World Cups and is a key figure at the back. Captain Tadic has been dropped in order to make room for an extra defensive midfielder, so Sergej Milinkovic-Savic will instead provide creativity. The armband instead goes to former Fulham striker Mitrovic, who is his country's record scorer and is partnered by Juventus star Vlahovic. Let's hear from their head coach.
At that time, I was the captain of the national team. Now, after more than 2 decades, I have the task and the privilege of leading the Serbian national team to the European Championships as head coach. Obviously, they had to wait for me to take Serbia to the European Championships again after so many years, but it was fate.
It's Serbia's first European Championship as an independent nation. They competed within Yugoslavia at Euro 2000. The tournament boasted a golden generation of players featuring joint top goal scorer Savo Milosevic.
Milosevic! Goal! Savo Milosevic yet again!
Oh my, that was a long time ago. The best memory I have from my career is playing at 1 Euro and 2 World Cups.
One of the best Balkan strikers of all time, Milosevic's 5 goals at Euro 2000 saw him become a cult hero as Yugoslavia reached the quarter-finals.
To be part of that was a privilege, and I'm proud. Whether I'm famous or not, I don't really like talking about myself.
When I was a child, I remember watching them. They were an inspiration and role models for me and my peers.
And Stojkovic scores after an error by the German goalkeeper Kupka.
Just as they left a lasting impression on the younger generation, we should try to do the same.
This will be Serbia's 3rd major tournament in 6 years, but the Euro provides uncharted territory.
There's no doubt that England are one of the strongest teams in the competition, ready to fight to reach the final and win the European title, but it won't be easy for them.
England has a really great national team. They are one of the main favourites to win the whole tournament. They have really incredible attacking potential, and they have many players with individual qualities beyond the norm.
I don't know if it's good or bad that we're playing them in the first game. We have to play them, and we'll try to play a very good game and cause them problems. On the other hand, they have to prove that they're better than us.
His voice has changed since I played with him. Serbia came through a relatively weak qualifying group in 2nd place, 4 points behind Hungary, who beat them in both matches. Their total of 14 points was the joint lowest of any of the teams that made it to Germany automatically. It's obvious where their strengths lie, Rio, up front, and in particular Mitrovic. It all strikes me as a real handful. How would you deal with him?
Yeah, he's definitely a handful. Physicality, definitely one of his strengths. But you've got to get the ball into him. I think to stop him, I think you have to keep him out of the box. You've got to play high, play aggressive as a team, and keep them as far away from your box as possible. Because if the ball does get put into the box, and these guys put the ball into the box more than anybody, they know what they have, and they're playing Vlahovic as well today. So we have 2 players who are very capable in the air, very dominant in the air. If you get in these areas here and the fullbacks don't get out quick enough to close down these balls coming in, these guys have the ability to definitely hurt us. I think in world football today, I don't think we see enough defenders who are comfortable defending the box from wide area crosses. And if, again, I think the game plan is today for these guys, if they get up the pitch here, is get the ball into their number 9, Mitrovic, as soon as possible. Because even though he's playing in Saudi now, I just feel even at Fulham, he gives some of the best defenders. I see him work Virgil van Dijk a couple of times. And you think, wow, this guy, if you play to his strengths, he's an absolute problem. Yeah. Keep him out of the box.
Also, it's a big night, obviously, for Mark Gay, slightly inexperienced. What would your advice to be?
Yeah, it's interesting. He's a young defender. I think we've both been young defenders coming into the national team. I think you need to build a relationship with your partner. I remember going into the 2002 World Cup. Sol Campbell was more experienced than me. I was going to his room, talking about music, having a coffee, just to build that little relationship off the pitch that you see the fruits on the pitch as well. But the main work goes on the training ground, talking about each other's game, identify. John Stones has a big role to play. He's got to help talk him through this young defender. They've played together 3 times. That's not a lot of games. The inexperienced line up together. But this kid, I think he can go to. Patrick Vieira said to me that when I spoke about him, he said, this kid, whatever level he will jump to, he'll be able to just get to that level and he'll do it comfortably. No airs and graces. He seems like a really calm and cool customer. And I actually texted him and he just come back and me, yeah, cheers, man. Thanks.
I heard about you.
No. I had to prod him again. But no, when you text these guys,
I suppose perhaps the key for a team when you're playing against a side that is very big and physical and likes to get wide and pop it in is stop them getting into those areas and dominate possession. The Spanish way, Seth.
Well, I think, joking apart, I think it's very important that they manage the ball very well, that they are incisive. Obviously, with the game plan that Gareth is trying here, with the profile of players that he put in, I think this is what he's trying to do, to play forward. I think when we do the analysis of the fullbacks with you, Micah, today there is an input even more important that Jude Bellingham is getting to the box. He scores a lot of goals. Last game, for the friendly game, he wasn't there, so he'll be super important. And I think just that the fluidity, if he can exchange positions, if he can have this anarchy a little bit in the game, I think they can see.
Are you surprised he's left out Tadic, because he's never done that before since he took charge of the?
Yes, it is, but it's definitely a game plan. Tadic is the link guy, between the midfield and the attackers. He wants to be more direct. Obviously, he wants to get into the box, get out wide, and don't underestimate, this team, because individually they have really good players that play at the top level.
And one of those is Vlahovic. Certainly deserves respect.
Yeah, he's amazing. Obviously, he struggled a little bit at Juventus. I saw him at Fiorentina. He was outstanding in terms of his link-up play. He could score goals, right foot, left foot. But in this team, normally they do play with just one up front, but it's just finding a way to get in there. His confidence was knocked a little bit because before he went to Juventus, Real Madrid were in for him, Arsenal were in for him. He had a bad injury which set him back a little bit. But his movement around the box is brilliant. And I always look sort of, if I was a defender, how would I mark him? And when he's on form, it's very difficult because he can do so much things with his game, whether it's coming short, whether it's running in behind, whether it's his touch, whether it's his finishing. But he's brilliant. And I just think England have to be careful tonight because if he gets spaced in the box, he can hurt you.
Okay, the England team are out warming up at present. Jordan Pickford has been a mainstay for England in the past 3 major tournaments. Only 4 England keepers have won more caps. One of them is Joe Hart, and he's pitchside with Kelly.
Yes, 75 caps for Joe Hart. He was in fact the man who had the England #1 shirt before Jordan Pickford. And Joe, Pickford is someone that you've seen at close quarters. What would you say his main attributes as a goalkeeper?
Jordan's been exceptional. High pressure, profile like this, tournaments. Incoming!
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, he's been great. Very agile, works very hard, always trying to improve, excellent distribution. Looking forward to watching it tonight.
Yeah, one of the things that's often thrown at him is that perhaps he's a little bit animated. Do you share those concerns?
Yeah, I've heard that, and if I'm honest, if that's what people are looking for to criticise him, then I take that as a positive. Because his goalkeeping doesn't come into question. He's been exceptional. Look, how Jordan gets himself in the zone is how Jordan gets himself in the zone. And anyone who wants to put the slightly irate he gets during a game, I think you've got to point out that the majority of the time he's behaving like that and he's performing at the highest possible level. So look, he's a human being. Every now and again something goes wrong, especially as a goalkeeper. But it's certainly not down to his temperament. His temperament's actually exceptional and he's very calm when he needs to be.
Yeah, and he has done it at the top for so long. England's #1 now, his 4th major tournament. You played at 3 for England as well. Give us a little bit of an insight into what it takes to stay at the top of your game for that period of time.
Look, he's at the top of his game, that's for sure. He's playing for England. The quality and the possibilities that Gareth has got are endless. Some exceptional goalkeepers playing in the Premier League, one's coming up. But look, he picks Jordan every time because he's constantly trying to improve physically, mentally, emotionally. You know, he's got all the raw materials. We know that when you're at this level, everyone's got talent, everyone's got spring, everyone can pass a ball. But it's are you willing to go that next level? And Jordan is. And you know, good luck to him. A really important night tonight.
One of the things that is often said about this current England squad is that while they've got all the riches in attack, maybe the defence isn't quite as solid. As a former goalkeeper, would you kind of agree with that?
Hey, look, we're always going to look to... You're going to have to pick holes in some part of this team because this squad is absolutely sensational. So much talent out there. Look, no getting away from the fact. I think ideally, as England supporters would want Harry Maguire out here. But look, Mark Gahey's getting picked tonight because he's the best available centre-half other than John Stones in the entire country. And as I said before with Jordan, Garrett's got all sorts of options when it comes to the goalkeeping department, and he also has it at centre-halves, and Mark's the man that he's chosen, so let's get behind him. I'm really excited to see how he does. Look, he's in with John Stones, Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier, superb players who played at the highest level, so I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, and players that you know really well as well. They came over and gave you a big hug when we walked out onto the pitch, friends for life. As for Serbia, Alexander Mitrovic, someone that you'll have played against in the Premier League, what do England need to be wary of?
Yeah, look, he's a threat. He's a guy that can lay quite dormant during a game. He's very economic with his movement, but give him a chance and he'll score. In recent years, I've just checked his international career. Exceptional scoring record. We need to keep him quiet, but at the same time, so what if he scores? That might happen in this tournament. We've got to stay cool, keep believing in what we're doing, and score more at the other end.
And it isn't just this England goalkeeper that you know very well as well, because you know the Serbian one too.
No, I know Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, cross paths at Torino, giant of a man, you know, very talented. If it backs to the wall kind of keeper, he'd be exceptional. But yeah, I'm more interested in what goes on with the England boys tonight.
So are we. I've got to say, you sure you want to retire? Because some of your reactions to these balls going on around us have been impressive.
Yeah, I'm staying on my toes. Absolute buzz, by the way. What a place to be. What an atmosphere.
Yeah, as we walked out here, Joe said this is a huge buzz. Ice cold when you were playing, but a bit different now we've done this up. We'll be back at half-time, Gary.
Joe wasn't aware of the fact that Milinkovic-Savic was left out, actually, surprisingly so. From one former England captain to the current incumbent, Harry Kane sets a new record today for the most major tournament appearances by any England player, moving ahead of Ashley Cole and Raheem Sterling. No other Englishman has also scored more goals in major tournaments.
Well, Harry, another record for you. Most goals at a major tournament for England, ahead of the likes of Lineker, Shearer, Rooney, Owen and Hurst. How much do those records mean to you?
Yeah, I think they just keep me motivated to keep pushing. In my first major tournament, I was never thinking about, oh, can I be the one who scores the most major goals for England? I think I scored 4 in the last Euros, which was a decent return. But I always feel like, you know, there's opportunity to get more. But, you know, I think what I've learned over all the tournaments is not to panic if you don't, especially early in the tournament. You know, there's a lot of big games ahead. There's a tough few weeks ahead of us. That's going to be hard physically and mentally. From my point of view, I just want to be there on the pitch, helping as much as possible.
There's so much talk about all of the players around you, who's going to play in attack, but we all know it's going to be you that plays. How much do you relish the pressure of being that main man?
I think I've worked hard to get to that point, and consistency is a big thing for me to be able to go year on year and keep improving. As the tournaments go on, you get more experience and you start to learn more about yourself. And you know, I'm 30 now. I feel like I'm at the prime in terms of physically and mentally where your game's at for the next kind of 4 or 5 years should be at the very top level. Confidence is high. I'm always someone who likes to lead by example, and that's what I'll continue to do.
You played at a major tournament for England was the game against France. Since then, you've become England's record goal scorer and you've had the best, most prolific season of your club career at Bayern Munich. How have you bounced back like that?
It was a tough moment for me personally. You know, I always want to be the one that the team can lean on, so to be the one to miss the penalty was really tough to take. But
just made me more motivated to get even better and to keep improving. And I think I showed that over the 2 years with club and for country. I'll be the first to try and take a penalty in this tournament, and that's the mindset you've got to have. You just got to move on, dust yourself down and go again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's talk about Germany. You've had a season here now. Hasn't gone too bad, has it?
It was a good season, amazing experience so far, even just being able to connect with a lot of the German fans, and I got a great reception at the open training session last week, so I wasn't sure what to expect before going, but I've been pleasantly surprised, and the support that I've had has been amazing. Yeah, it's been a great experience, and I'm hoping I can use some of that to help me in this tournament.
How would you say it's made you a better player? What will England fans maybe notice different about you this summer?
Well, it's a good question. I think just playing in the biggest games on the biggest stage always helps. We had a good Champions League run, and we played some of the biggest games you could ever play. And time will tell, of course, but I think just the experiences I've had in a Bayern Munich shirt will definitely help me in an England shirt.
So much of this journey has been with Gareth Southgate. He made you captain. What have you made of the path he's taken with England?
I think sometimes people forget where we were as a team before he took over. Not just the way we played, but also just the environment he set, the connection with the fans that he set. Yeah, he's a top manager, and he's been a huge part of why we're doing what we're doing.
Does it feel within the squad that this could be his last shot at a tournament with England?
Yeah, maybe. I know he's been here a long time. Obviously, there was talks after the World Cup whether he would stay, and thankfully he did. And I just think from the players' point of view, whether it's his last or not, we'd love to win a major tournament. He deserves it, and it's just the only thing missing now is to go and get that major trophy. So we're definitely determined to try and win this one for him.
Is it anything less than winning it good enough?
I don't think so. I think it's similar to the World Cup. You can have amazing tournaments and still go out, and the fans will be proud, and we want to make the fans proud. But I think we're all at the stage now where if we don't win, we're going to be disappointed. We've been taking steps towards this moment, but it's going to be tough. We know that, but we're ready for the challenge.
Have a look at this. Harry Kane tops the list of most goals and assists in Europe's top 5 leagues. But not only look at that, but have a glance at who else is on there. No shortage of talent in this England side, certainly going forward, that's for sure. Harry Kane moved to Germany, of course, didn't he, to win trophies. It would be kind of cool if the first trophy he gets is in 4 weeks' time.
I think if you'd have said that to him at the beginning of this season, he'd took that definitely. To win with England, it makes him immortal. Look at the names on there.
I just want to highlight goals in major tournaments. He's above you, Gary.
9 World Cups, though.
But, just going back to Harry Kane, I think that he's hugely important, obviously, captain, goal scorer, etc. But I think I'd want to see him higher up the pitch, play against the 2 defenders, pin them back, and create the space for the likes of Foden, for the likes of
I've watched him a lot in Bayern Munich this season. He has stayed a lot higher generally than perhaps he did when he played in England. So
and we need runners as well.
That helps.
And I think we need the people like the wide players or Bellingham to get beyond him, so that he can find a way to keep their back 4 or back 3 back. Yeah. If he does drop in, we have to do that.
Especially when you've got passes in the side, perhaps like Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah. Do you think it's because he was asking for this type of help behind him, that he was not trusting the player behind him to get onto the ball that much to make things happen, that he was dropping too much, and maybe now this will allow him to feel more confident to stay higher?
Yeah, maybe. That might be the case. And I think when you see that, he's now looking at players like Bellingham, Foden, who are going to be in, and Trent, who are going to be in those areas in the pockets and between them.
Looking forward as well.
They're looking forward. You just think, well, if I play a bit higher, they can put me in now, be closer to goal. So you could be right with that.
Yeah. But also, maybe with the category of player that England now has in those positions, that they'll be confident enough to say, Harry, stay higher. That's important, isn't it, to that kind of communication?
I think it's important to always have a reference. Me as a midfielder, to liberate space, to create something happen, you need the centre-back spin. Nowadays in modern football, centre-backs, they are not scared and afraid to jump on you. So at least if he wants to drop deep, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Gordon, they need to attack the space in behind, especially against the back five. I always say the most important thing to attack a back five is always to make little runs in behind, like maybe Italy did yesterday in the first half.
Yeah, indeed. Trent Alexander-Arnold, it's a big night. A big night for Trent. He's moved into midfield. I've said for years and years and years, I think he's a midfield player. Seth's not a fullback. I think he ended up there by accident. I really hope...
You said this for years, Gary. I have to admit, you said this for years.
But I might be wrong. But what a footballer, what a passer of the ball.
I just think it's his natural ability, and what I like about him is that you put him in any part of the pitch, in any position, and he will deliver. What I like, I said before, he plays forward. He does it with so much ease. Players like Salah or Saka today, for example, Gordon, they need to be so happy to see this type of player, this type of profile. What I see always in midfield, you need to see the furthest player. After, if you cannot play the furthest player, you start playing a little bit short. But you know, look at this. Honestly speaking, I haven't seen many players in my lifetime that they make this type of transitions, they make this type of passing, short, long, switches of play with so much ease, with so much natural ability. He can make final passes inside the box as well. He can take set pieces, free kicks. I mean, he's got the whole lot for me.
I think an important thing is when you're talking about someone like Trent is not focusing on what he can't do. Yes. Focus on what he's got, and he's actually got a great part of his game that is like it's incomparable with anybody else really. His passing range. We've seen an array of passing here that like 2 or 3 players should be doing and have been good at one of them. He's good at everything, and he can score goals as well. And I think concentrate on what he's good at. He's in there to create things. Harry Kane, play high. This guy will find it.
He's not a natural defender, Micah, so therefore take that away and play in a position where you don't have to worry about that quite as much. It's just, you know, that one-on-one weakness that he probably had as a defender is irrelevant.
Of course, though, I just think as tactically as well, you've just got to be aware. Against Serbia, you can build that confidence with them passes like the guys have just shown there. But tactically aware, when you're playing maybe a France or a Germany, it's just how can you deal with that position, you know, when you're against better opposition? That's the only question.
Yeah, Michael, we've gone, I don't know how long we've been doing, 45, 50 minutes without talking about Jude Bellingham. He's turned into a global superstar. He's a leader. He's a winner. Could he be the player that perhaps drags England over the line? It's his 3rd major tournament. He's the youngest European player ever to play in 3 major tournaments. And look who's on that list at number 4. Seth's there as well.
I just think his whole package, his temperament, obviously going to Dortmund so young and then making that move from Dortmund to Real Madrid, just 20 years of age. I think what's so good about him, he's versatile. He's played a lot in the 10 or a false 9 for Real Madrid, but I actually like him a little bit deeper, like Rio does as well. And a lot of people don't give him credit for the work rate he puts in for the team. There was times when Real Madrid in the Champions League this season, there was under the cosh, and the work that he put in, I think his form dipped a little bit towards the end of the season, but in terms of work rate and the full package, what he can bring to this England side is just immense.
Well, what do you make of him, Seth? Because he's not, you know, he's not like Trent in terms of his passing. He's not necessarily a dribbler. What are his strengths? What does he give to this England team?
I think he complements really well the other players in midfield. Rice needs to be a little bit more the positional guy, Trent the controller, and he will have that freedom to get into the pockets, to get into the box, which for me, he's one of the best players in the world right now. He's clutch, you know, he gets into position, scores special goals. He has an eye for an assist as well, and he is unpredictable. The way he makes runs into the box, he reminds me a little bit of Frank Lampard as well, where sometimes he's not too much involved into the pitch, into the game, but he's special when he claims.
I think a lot of what I was really impressed with him is he plays what the game needs.
Yes.
That's what he did, that intelligence at that age of 20 years old to understand what a game needs. It might need me to play out of position today and to work in a way that I'm not used to, but I'll do it. And I'll do it to the best of my ability and then to a high level. But I think the separator for him above all of these other wonder kids that are around at the moment who are flying and playing well is the mindset, the mentality, the capacity to handle pressure and expectations and go in and deliver at the highest standard.
Yeah, perhaps one concern, Phil Foden. We've all talked this season, we like him as a 10, but I think Clearly, Gareth Southgate wants to play Bellingham as a 10, Foden on the left. Do you expect them to rotate? Bellingham's clever at doing that. He does it with Vinicius Junior at Real Madrid. He fills in on the left sometimes.
They have to rotate. I know we talk about Phil Foden in the number 10. That's where we all think he's probably the best, and that's why he's performed very well for Man City this season. But he's had some great performances from the left-hand side, and he scores goal. As long as he can be fluid and move about, rotate, he'll have a good game.
How do you see it going?
I'm going to go England win. I think it's going to be difficult. I think in terms of what I'm looking for in the game, Kostic on that left-hand side, Kyle Walker's got to engage with the two strikers, Vlahovic and Mitrovic up front. You've got to stop that at source. And if we deal with that, I think we'll be fine.
We're biased, obviously. Seth, how do you see it going, this England team?
I see today a comfortable win for England, 3-0. Yeah.
That's fair. We like that.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. I love that. And I'm going to go along with it. I think 3-0, I think comfortable, and I just feel I want to see our best players perform. This is never easy. These opening games, nerves, they're jingling around. You've got to get through that, and the expectations obviously come back home with what we've got. We've got to control that, but we have players who've experienced and played and won the biggest things. This moment here, I'm waiting. I just want to get out on the pitch. I want to just go and feel the atmosphere and get out. I've waited too long now. And I think a lot of players.
Pour a bottle of water on your head.
Yeah, pour the water on my head, do a jump as I walk out. Like, these guys have all their superstitions. But you guys are the same. Like, this is the moment now. Just get me out there.
What was it like before the big game, though?
There were nerves, but it's good nerves. If I didn't have nerves, I'd be worried.
Yeah. Seth, were you a nervous kind of player? You don't strike me as that.
No, not really. I was quite comfortable thinking about what I have to do. Very quiet.
They're winning World Cups and Euros, man. You don't
well, there's Harry Kane. He's about to lead his team out for their challenge in this European Championship. We've built them up, so we don't have to knock them down. It's time. England versus Serbia. Try and enjoy it with Alan Shearer and Guy Mowbray.
Thank you, Gary, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the start of another England adventure at a major tournament. The players believe that they can be the ones to end the now 58 years of hurt. And this time, they really do actually sound like they believe. For those watching and supporting, it is again time to straddle that fine line between hope and expectation. It's surely better to stay on the hope side. To paraphrase the American author Brandon Sanderson, expectations are like fine pottery. The harder you hold them, the more likely they are to crack. Must be an England fan. We're in Gelsenkirchen, in the industrial heartland of the old West Germany. England have travelled from their base nearly 200 miles to the east. Alan Shearer has travelled even further than that from Berlin, and although we don't know yet whether football's finally coming home, Alan has, sort of. This place being twinned with Newcastle upon Tyne. Good taste. It's a mining turn, and they embrace that, as you can see, with the unique players tunnel carved out of the coal. How are you going along, Alan, with the very confident predictions in the studio?
Yeah, I get it, I understand it. I would go along with it as well. I think it's time we've been seeing this England team, a very good England team. It's now time for them to prove they're a great England team, and they can only do that by winning this game and winning this competition.
The first step on that road, wherever it may end, is about to be taken. First, we will stand and observe the national anthems of England and of Serbia. sung with big voices by a very big team. South England can shine as brightly as the warm-up jackets they're commanding. Here's the Serbia lineup. They play with three at the back, the same three who started at the Qatar World Cup. Then in a change to the expected side of midfield five that maybe suggests a more cautious approach than usual from coach Dragan Stojkovic. Holding player Nemanja Gudel starts rather than the former Southampton playmaker and regular captain Dusan Tadic. So the armband goes to record scorer Alexander Mitrovic, who we know very well from 5.5 prolific years at Fulham. And he'll be partnered by Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus. Italy's Daniele Ossato will be retiring from top-level officiating after this tournament, and who also took charge of England's opener at the last Euros, a 1-0 win against Croatia at Wembley. It is the England lineup that was widely predicted as Mark Gay takes Harry Maguire's usual spot in defence, and Kieran Trippier plays at left-back. Luke Shaw not quite ready to return from injury, although he is a substitute. Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield as Declan Rice's partner. Those the only three differences from the team beaten by France in the World Cup quarter-final 18 months ago, since when the attacking quartet has flourished for their clubs, boasting 114 goals between the four of them last season. Two attack-minded teams, Alan. I don't think Serbia are going to sit back. We know that England don't intend to.
No, absolutely, you just mentioned it. There's goals galore in this England team. But this Serbian team that fight as the warriors, and they're used to being the underdogs. In fact, that'll probably suit them. It'll be a tough nut to crack tonight.
Saka, Bellingham, Foden, Kane. They have the greatest responsibility of all, scoring goals. Here we go then, your full attention needed. This has been a tournament of early goals so far, and it was on this day in 1982 when Brian Robson scored England's fastest ever at a major finals, 27 seconds against France, to set up a 3-1 win. Stones immediately put under a little bit of pressure by Vlahovic, but he's recovered. Vlahovic and Mitrovic will try and keep up that pressure whenever they possibly can. They are a very, very formidable striking duo.
Absolutely. I think what you'll see is, though, with Mitrovic, he'll be the main number 9 up there, and Vlahovic will just try and play it in behind him and try and help the midfield out when he possibly can.
Jude Bellingham gets on the ball. Rice. Saka. Faced by Kostic. Helped by Walker. Gahey. Trippier available on the left-hand side, but doing that the other way.
It's important that he gets an early touch. Gahey feeds himself into the game.
Foden. He's on the left-hand freedom to go where he wants, and already he's just shifted onto the right-hand side. Away by Trippier. That is a clearance that was only with clearing intended. I think it's clear what the strength of this Serbian team is the centre forward, but when you look at weaknesses, certainly you've got Zivkovic on the right-hand side, more of a winger than a wing-back, I should say. The back three are all big, tall guys, love to play out, but prone to an error if England can get the press right. England are absolutely dominating possession of the ball so far and have now won a free kick with Saka, the victim of a foul. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, as you'd expect, is given the responsibility of delivery. Foden just had a little run there. Foden's just going to slot him in down the right-hand side, but he's placing the ball and going to whip this ball in with some pace and hope that someone gets on the end of it. Serbia have drawn their tall line right across the edge of the penalty area. It is whipped in by Alexander-Arnold. Declan Rice takes over. Safely back with Kyle Walker. He's going to go even more safely back to Jordan Pickford. And just slotting into that middle role, hasn't he? Kyle Walker, he's the one that they can leave at the back because of his pace. So with Alexander-Arnold in the side, you've got a player who very naturally will go and fill in on the right. That's where he is now. It does look a very fluid England system. And then you can see Kieran Trippier as well, push right up on the left-hand side. Yeah, he's had quite a few touches already. Stones to Foden. Bellingham. Alexander-Arnold. Held back in their own half, not able to get anywhere near it yet. Here's Bellingham, and that's Foden. And for once, the ball didn't stick as it usually does with him. And again, but it's important, he's coming in off that left-hand side, and the understanding between him and Bellingham in that 10 role finds him with a wonderful pass, and he's just his touch let him down. Trippier's gone here. He's done well to win the ball. Foden with a shot that he seemed in two minds about. Just offside, I think. The flag went up anyway. That is Stojkovic, first Serbia coach to get the country to the Euros as playing Serbia. Legendary figure in football in the country. Although, there's divide opinion as the national team coach. As Gareth Southgate does too, in some ways. Well, if he wins this competition, he won't. That's by Rice. Walker behind, didn't get all of it. This is Kostic. Kostic in a good position from which to cross, just too high for Vlahovic. Now Serbia have their first chance to try and put some sort of stamp of authority in the England half of the field. We'll get used to that if they do get into forward positions. They don't have any second thoughts about whipping that ball in, getting it crossing, right-hand side, left-hand side. That's what they have to do, because that's what Mitrovic needs. He's a record goal scorer, he demands that. That's what you always like to see. Absolutely. Predrag Rajkovic. Terrific lead that from Stones. A few question marks about his fitness. He's starting 12 Premier League games for Manchester City in the last campaign. Alexander-Arnold out for Trippier. That's what they'll have to do well, guys. Switch the play, but do it quickly, you know. Because when you've got players in there who are going to sit and make it tight and frustrating for you, you've got to move the ball quickly. Stones. Walker to Saka. Attack for a Serbia throw after a little bit of contemplation by the assistant referee on that side of the field, Alessandro Gialatini. More casual these days than he was in Russia. First started out in tournament life as the national head coach. The waistcoat has long gone. I see you with a waistcoat on today. What was that? Oh no. What was it? Gilles? I did see you having a picture taken with the Gareth Southgate lookalike who was still trying to get away with it. Free kick, which Rice wanted to take from a little further back. He's happy with that. Rice trying to slot Saka in down the side. It's Pavlovic who gets it away for Serbia as far as Rice. And he didn't quite keep it in. It was a good run by Saka. He actually just came short to go along. Kostic came with him, who's going to try and stick with him very closely on England's right-hand side. He just couldn't get away from the centre-half. He read it really well. Philip Kostic with the throw. Knows Germany well, spent 4 years at Frankfurt before joining Juventus, and he was at Stuttgart and Hamburg before then. Nicely taken. And Bellingham, even more nicely kept, to win himself a free kick. A couple of times he just come short there, hasn't he? Got the ball, and his technique and his touch have been superb just to get him away from the marker there. It's another foul. Good play. It was being pulled at the bottom and arrived at the top. Tricky. Good shot to Carl Walker. Rice at the back. And the referee has seen a little bit of a combat that he's not happy with. John Stones was the perpetrator, and Serbia get quite a cheap free kick. So it was Mitrovic as well, wasn't it? That he's come back in there to mark him. Using all of his experience there. Player learned everything he knows from you. You were his hero. Really? Newcastle fan. Alexander Mitrovic before scoring 17 goals for them. He knows his stuff, he does. 111 goals in a 5.5-year stay at Craven Cottage. 43 goals a couple of seasons ago. He's had a very successful first season in Saudi Arabia too. 39 goals in all competitions. Only just shy of a goal a game. Country record goal scorer, 58 and 91. Very, very good record. All of the numbers are good no matter what levels that you are scoring them in. Absolutely. Rice. Trippier. Trippier once more, winning a throw-in. Trippier 12, otherwise England are 1-11, and you don't see that too often in any football these days. It's going to be difficult for Trippier, you know, because he's not naturally left-footed, and when he's going to go down that left-hand side, a lot of the time he'll want to come back inside on his right foot. John Stones. Walker. Saka does get it across, and it's headed in by Bellingham. 12 minutes. England's opener. England's golden boy. Jude Bellingham scores at the Euros. Just watch where he comes from. His run is fantastic, the timing of it. But the run also from Saka. He did it 2 or 3 minutes earlier when I said he came short, he went long. And he got away from Kostic. He did it exactly the same again there. He just comes in there and he runs in behind. And then you're thinking, can he pick the ball out? Absolutely. Bellingham times his run to perfection. What a header. Done it all season for Real Madrid. No chance, the goalkeeper. Right in the corner. All Jude Bellingham had to do was get there first. And England have got their first goal of these European Championships. They've looked so comfortable on the ball, every player in white from the start. And there is the early reward. It is Serbia 0, England 1. Well, we said Germany made a really good start, Spain made a really good start, and they went after the opposition straight away. That's what England have done. They've been patient in their passing. And in that first 10 or 15 minutes, it's proved worthwhile. The deflection on the Saka cross, which helped. Just topped it up beautifully, just the right height. But the run was superb, and the timing of the pass also. Has raised the volume as you look at it mainly to the right of your picture. England leading off the field in numbers too. Flags from clubs at all levels. There's barely a club in the top 6 or 7 tiers of English football that's not represented here, from Arsenal to Ascot United. Pickford. Passing out to Gehi, confronted though he was by Vlahovic. Gehi has looked comfortable, you know. 2 or 3 really impressive touches there early on in the game. Here's Alexander-Arnold. It looks as though making that breakthrough so early on has just made England have even more of a step and even more comfort in possession of the football. When you're playing against the back 5 and you've got 3 in midfield who are going to try and frustrate you, it's really important that, I said earlier, you move the ball quickly, but also you keep the width, and that's exactly what Saka has done on the right hand side. Foden not so much because he's got more freedom, but Saka on the right hand side is going to be a huge problem for them. A couple of great runs already, one leading to the goal, and one way who's really unlucky that the defender read it well. Gehi. John Stones calls for calm, and then calmly receives the ball. When England have got the ball also, look, they're playing it more of a 3, you know, Gehi, Stones and Walker going in there, and then Trippier's gone wide on the left-hand side as well. On by Kostic, but he couldn't find a red Serbia shirt. Walker. Now Saka. Rice. Intercepted by Veljkovic. Trippier. Bellingham being held on to. The foul had already been committed, and
Referee Osato is racing across just to have a word with Živkovic. Showing a few signs of frustration. Here's Walker. Oh, just wrong-footed Bukayo Saka. Mitrovic takes it up. Serbia number 9 has had a few touches of the ball. The England number 9 hasn't yet.
That doesn't matter. You could say that. He'll just want one. As long as that one is about 5 yards out, that's all he wants and needs. And England are winning, so who cares?
Vlahovic, good tackle by Gehi. Put wide by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Had to take it early, had to take it a little bit high. The referee's coming across to see whether Jude Bellingham's okay. He's insinuating that there was an uncalled for arm, and there was from Vlahovic.
I don't think he knew what he was doing there. He's a marked man nowadays, Bellingham. Take it as a little bit of respect. They want you, they're after you for what he's achieved and what he's done already.
And just a little reminder, because that name is tripping off the tongue so easily and so often now, Jude Bellingham, he is still only 20 years old. He plays as though he's been on the scene a decade, as though major tournaments are an everyday occurrence.
It just makes it look so easy, which of course it isn't. What a season he's had.
23 goals in his debut season in another all-white kit that carries so much weight of responsibility. 20 years old now, joining Real Madrid, scoring 17 goals in your first 20 games from midfield.
Staggering. Absolutely staggering.
This is by and large a very young European Championships, looking across the squads. The performance of Lamine Yamal, the 16-year-old from Barcelona for Spain the other night, was magnificent. Now England in the spot of bother. A real spot of bother. You can't let Mitrovic have that sort of shooting chance. And it whistled wide before Pickford had any time to react.
Yeah, you can't afford to give him too many chances and mistakes like that. Poor touch. Trent it was just in there. I was just about to say 5 or 10 seconds before that, yeah, he did really well in winning the ball back. And they tried to play the ball out, but Trent got caught on it.
It's a warning to the players after having so much of it all their own way so far. It's a warning to us as well. Early days. Harry Kane wrestling for his first touch. Being wrestled by Milenkovic, and a free kick. Saka is pulled down. And Osato making it clear that it's not the first time. Wasn't quite Chiellini pulling him down 3 years ago, but it'll do.
Free kick in a dangerous position.
Alexander-Arnold. The duo getting set, but it is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Declan Rice didn't seem to expect it.
He got caught off guard, didn't he? I think he thought that someone was just going to get a touch in front of him. Just turns his back on it, so it hits his shoulder in the end, doesn't it? It's a good ball in, though.
Serbia slowly, steadily trying to play their way out of defence. Sasha Lukic of Fulham, who's in central midfield but is hardly seen the ball anywhere near his boots. Same goes for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, the tremendously talented former Lazio midfielder next to him. It's Lukic again. Djokovic, Vlahovic. Walker cuts it out, way before it reached Kostic. Pickford taking no chances. The right decision as well. Just been under a little bit of pressure with a mistake. No more encouragement to give them. If you have to get rid of it, there's no harm in that. Rajkovic looking for Mitrovic to win it, using his body against Stones. Very nicely laid off. Vlahovic is on the move. Here he is. Vlahovic's shot blocked at source by Gehi. Saka, what a bundle of energy he's been. Foden, just behind Bukayo Saka. Kostic. Trapped by Bellingham. Being bothered by Bellingham. England throw. Jude Bellingham leaves a little bit on Philip Kostic and then very wisely ignores the riposte.
Yeah, don't get involved. You've had a great start. You've scored a wonderful goal. Touch has been fantastic. No need.
Fired up. Cheer from England supporters at Serbia's fans trying to lift their team. Rajkovic deals with Kane. The Eagles getting on the ball much more often now. There's a little more urgency in their play. Vlahovic's pass is intercepted. Walker's on the move. Walker surges into the box. He was pushed, was he? He was certainly off balance as he tried to play it across. Nobody able to apply the finishing touch. Kyle Walker flying.
Wonderful play from Trent. You see he's in there for his passing ability, but the way he read that in front of that back four, then set England forward with a run from Kyle Walker. No one was going to keep up with him or catch him. You're just going to hope that someone was going to get on the end of it. It really was intelligent play from Trent.
Pavlovic just made his presence felt slightly. Not enough to any sort of decision made against him. Walker at one point was just going to keep his head down and hit it.
Not many can keep up with him. That was the problem.
Foden now. A ripple of applause from Gareth Southgate right in front of him.
Well, he'll be a really happy man the way his team have started. Been really positive and plenty of energy.
His 96th game as England boss tonight. Moving ahead of Sir Bobby Robson into third place on his own. Only Sir Walter Winterbottom and Sir Alf Ramsey have led England more times. That's a lot of sirs. Who knows one day? Walker back to an applauding Jordan Pickford.
I think they're just trying to encourage Serbia to come and press them, and then what happens is you're inviting the long ball up there because Serbia gone 3-3 at the back.
Kane that time made sure he got Nikola Milenkovic out of his way. There is a real old scrap going on between those two every time the ball's anywhere near them. I think the man from Fiorentina's just about shaving it so far.
You can shade it for 89 minutes if you want, if you're a centre half. You just need one chance as a forward, that's all. But that's what England are doing, you know, when
Pickford's got the ball, are just trying to draw Serbia on because they are being brave and going 3v3 at the back. And that's why Pickford's knocked that ball long 2 or 3 times. Rajkovic, back to Rajkovic. Velkovic. Mitrovic, not enough on that. Rice finds Trippier. Bellingham finds Walker. Gehi. Just coming late, you've missed the goal by a quarter of an hour. Jude Bellingham giving England the early lead. 13th minute of the match. Serbia 0, England 1. It came from Bukayo Saka. He was trying to create a game. Had to wait for the bounce. Bellingham. Nice quick footwork. And England get a free kick with Trent Alexander-Arnold just too fast on his feet. He swept off them. Saka's doing a great job down that right-hand side. Kostic and Pavlovic don't know how to handle him. His movement is superb. As I said earlier, the great run is the defender going to come with you when you go short? Because if he does, he knows with his pace, he's done. The space is inside behind him, which is exactly what he wants, and they're finding him. The last England free kick, Alan said was in a good position. Well, how about this for a great position? Same sort of position from which Kieran Trippier scored his only international goal. World Cup semi-final of 2018 against Croatia. And that did not end well. It started very well. You have to be a bit forceful if you want to get Trent off it. Nice to see a cue. He was straight away across to the ball with Trippier. I think he might be outvoted. Let's see. Trent Alexander-Arnold is seeking the sweet spot. Trippier moves out of the picture. Here we go. Alexander-Arnold gets it wrong. Doesn't often with free kicks and corners and crosses, but that one is one to just put in the recycle bin pretty quickly. Bellingham. Pass that draws a gasp. And a Jude. What pressure. What pressure. Saka. He's playing with just that sort of mindset. Oh, Saka goes again. And another one is deflected up, this time with enough on it to clear for Serbia. Collected by Bellingham. Looking for Saka. Declan Rice. Really looking to put a squeeze on Serbia now. Stones. Walker. Saka has Pavlovic for company. Nothing wrong with the challenge that time. It's a strong man in Strahinja Pavlovic. That's been ruled as just strong shoulder to shoulder. Ooh, what about that for a volley, yeah? Technique, look at that. Mitrovic.
Velkovic. Živkovic. By Lukic, now it's Milinkovic-Savic. Serbia's best spell of play all game this. A little more purposeful with the passing now. Finding the room to do it. Lukic. Mitrovic dropping deep. Živkovic. Živkovic's cross, it's a really good one. Nicely defended by Gehi. Foden. Not able to find Kane.
That's what they love to do, we said it, didn't we? They don't want you a second invitation to move that ball out and put it out and whip it in the middle, get it crossing. It's what they want and need. And England can afford to have a high line because Mitrovic shouldn't run away from you too often, which is then squeezing and making the pitch a little bit smaller for them.
He's dropping deep again, he's still out to the right wing now. It's ironic that one of the best crosses of the night so far, and he was nowhere near the centre for it.
But when that ball did go in, you know, Gehi was there again. He's had a really positive 33 minutes, he has.
And that was a talking point, wasn't it, whether Harry Maguire, well, he's injured, not at the tournament, would be really missed aerially. Okay, he's done very, very well there so far. John Stones too.
I think other than that mistake where Trent gave it away and Mitrovic had that shot, England have looked really comfortable defensively.
Lukic. Gudel. Wants to go into reverse by Bellingham. Velkovic. Milinkovic. It's going to be intercepted by Gehi. Contested a little too far ahead of him, but Declan Rice had dropped back as cover.
Exactly what he's there for.
He knows that job so well.
He read it really well.
Alexander-Arnold. It's well behind Phil Foden, that one. Živkovic. I'm going to play. Time for me to let you know how to start your week in Euro 2024 terms. Tomorrow from 1:30 on BBC One, if you're lucky enough to have the time. If you're not at work, Romania against Ukraine. Big day for Ukraine now. And then tomorrow night, 10:40 PM on BBC One, a roundup of all the highlights of the day from Euro 2024. Serbia having more of the ball and trying to do something with it is getting the backing of their supporters and getting the backs up of England's. This has been a really good spell by Dragan Stojkovic's team, and here's Vlahovic. He's been bumped off it by Bellingham. He didn't seem to know that he was just behind it. Pocket picked.
He's been everywhere, Bellingham, you know. He's goal, he's tackling, taking a couple of knocks as well, just like he did there.
Saka takes over. And he has got the beating of Pavlovic and pulls it across. Foden unable to reach it. Give Saka the ball, let him run at Strahinja. Pavlovic. It's an easy game.
Well, and Kostic and Pavlovic down their left-hand side, England's right-hand side. They don't know what day it is. Every single time Saka's getting that ball, it's either a step over or they're running behind. He's having huge success down there.
Pavlovic, keeping it simple, finding Nikola Milenkovic. It's Neljkovic. Was a Spurs hopeful once and had loan spells. Middlesbrough and Charlton. Lukic of Fulham. Mitrovic who once was. And there's Kostic. Vlahovic leaps. Rice behind him. Neljkovic. Živkovic. He's got the room. Exactly what he wanted away from Trippier, but the cross didn't measure up, and it's Rice who walks away with it. Bellingham held on to again after a really graceful turn and good refereeing. On goes the game. And Bellingham is down again. And the referee is going to go to his pocket too. Called it the golden boy. For Serbia, he's the danger man. When the man Yagudo gets back to his feet, he'll get a greetings card.
It's only a matter of time. He's been clattered 4 or 5 times already, Jude Bellingham. I know his touch might have just went away from him then, but his reaction was better than Goodell's, and he reacts and gets that ball quicker than him, and he's fouled again, and it was only going to be a yellow card. Just leaves his foot in, doesn't he? I think he intended to.
Bellingham is gliding across the Gelsenkirchen pitch.
He is. He's looking so good, so comfortable. Energy galore. He's everywhere, isn't he?
Trippier. Rice. Oh. Just woke up in the nick of time and then took a bump from Lukic. Phil Foden. Bellingham. Again, the quick change of direction. Referee right on the scene to rule nothing wrong with those 2 challenges. Milenkovic was dithering. He's actually put the ball out because treatment is needed. Philip Kostic, the player, down. He was trying to draw the ref's attention and in the end just played it out himself. England will give it back once Kostic has been tended to.
He's had his socks tied into a knot by Saka. That's the problem. I know we're looking for perfection, but the right-hand side for England has been far more productive than the left-hand side. And I get that's understandable because of Trippier and because of Foden, but the product coming down that side has just been fantastic. Of course, it's led to that wonderful goal from Jude Bellingham. Timing of the run and the execution is magnificent.
Who's that behind the mask? It always helps, of course, at major tournaments to have that little bit of good fortune, and England got it with the Saka cross. A pop-up off the deck. Just the right height for Bellingham. And it's about time that England had a little bit of fortune at major tournaments. Stojkovic having a word with Dusan Vlahovic, who had a very strange pre-match ritual that myself and Alan witnessed. Never seen anybody do it before. He was the only player in the Serbia side who wandered out onto the pitch, barefoot, planted his feet in the grass and stood motionless for a full 5 or 6 minutes, listening to something, going through some pre-match routine to get himself in the zone. Not short on confidence, Vlahovic. Started out as a young man at Red Star. He insisted to everybody that he was the Zlatan of Belgrade. 18 goals for Juventus last season, so he's doing something right here.
It was a big call, wasn't it, from the manager, whether he was going to play those two or whether he was going to have Tadic in behind him. Gone for the two of them up there. Been handled really well up to now from the England back four. Stone's header. Serbia are going to make a change. Filip Mladenovic is going to come on shortly for Kostic. And Stones is getting a finger wag from the referee here as Mladenovic gets ready. It's a straight swap, like for like down the left-hand side. Mladenovic is a year, Kostic is senior, but has only won half as many caps. Fans just getting a little more interested as they have the ball near to that England penalty area. They'll look to get it in there. Well, that would have been the idea if they could have done. Mitrovic. Back to Rajkovic. Mitrovic doing that thing that we occasionally used to criticise Harry Kane for England at tournaments, just dropping a bit too deep. Here he is. Losing out to Declan Rice. I said earlier, he's not going to run in behind, and most of the time can't run in behind just because he lacks that yard of pace that you're going to need. So his preference is, if his ball's not coming in the middle, and he's going to go searching for it. Harry Kane not doing that, staying upfield. He's not getting any touches of the ball. I think last we heard he'd had one. But as you said earlier, it doesn't matter. Once it's 1-0 England, and once there's always the chance of the ball coming his way at the right time. Djukovic. Very neat sidestep by Gudel. Mitrovic. Into added time at the end of the half. There'll be at least 2 more minutes to play. And England maybe have just dropped off a little bit after such a promising beginning. One cries of shoot, it's a chip in instead. Vlahovic was never going to get near it, didn't look ready for it. Jordan Pickford has something to say as the ball sails behind for a goal kick. Just wasn't the right angle to play that type of pass, was it? England holding the line really well, the 18-yard box. Has to be some pass to get it in that in a tight angle. Dragon's not exactly breathing fire at the moment. How long have you been thinking of that one? We'll be alive about St George beating him if England win. Mladenovic. Down he goes, Serbia free kick. Nothing to do with the half-time whistle here. Nothing to trouble Jordan Pickford yet. Lukic. Djukovic. Lukic gets the crossover, and Stones, that was mightily awkward for him. He had to do it. He had to shovel it behind however he did it. He probably didn't get the connection on the ball that he wanted, but again, no second thought, get the ball in, get the cross in. That's the danger. A Serbia corner. Half-time is not just around the corner, it's pretty much here. And this is the danger for England. Mitrovic is of course in there scrapping, but it's a really poor delivery.
exactly what Serbia didn't want. Now still pushing though. But that will do it for the first half. It's come at the right time for England. Pretty much dominant for 35, maybe even 40 minutes of their first half of Euro 2024. They looked accomplished and very, very comfortable on the ball right from the start. Reward came early, 13th minute. Jude Bellingham heading in from Bukayo Saka's cross. The game isn't won yet. There's a lot of work to do. At the break, it's Serbia 0, England 1.
So far, so good then for England. One goal lead, an encouraging first half performance, a very fluid display from this young England side. Not exhilarating, but competent. A little dip, of course, in those last 10 minutes. We've moved outside to our rooftop. We're overlooking the Brandenburg Gate. It's pretty resplendent to me.
This is my debut. It's beautiful.
It's lovely, isn't it? Oh. It's a lovely spot. We're blessed. That's for sure. What did you make in the first half performance? Certainly started well.
Yeah, I thought we started with complete dominance. I think in the first 12 minutes up to the goal, it was just like one-sided completely. And I think that the way we started, the positivity with which we started, the confidence, and it was the most composed I've seen it for a while, really, in that stage.
Yeah. Teams, you know, you play an international sides, they're going to have spells in the game where they kind of dominate, and Serbia came back into the game. But overall, what do you think of England's performance so far, Seth?
I think for the first 20-25 minutes they were very dominant. They played like a proper team, you know, big. I was expecting, you know, to see the reaction of the midfielders, the number 10s. What are they respecting their roles? Do they have freedom? We saw that they have clearly a lot of freedom. They're doing the 3+1 with Rice being the more positional guy, and you know, after Trent, Bellingham, Foden as well, they have a lot of freedom. They move around with a lot of intelligence. I think they control the game very well. But for me to make that next step, to be a proper team, they need that consistency to believe that they are dominant, and to keep doing it as much as possible during the game, not give opportunities to the others.
I think Mark Gay has been outstanding.
Yeah.
He's coming to this team. There was a big talk about Harry Maguire, how he'd be missed. Of course, he'd be missed on set pieces, but the way how calm he is on the ball, his positioning, he's not rushing everything. I just think overall performance in the first half has been outstanding.
I think you've got to shout Saka as well. Saka's his blend and mix of play has been top joy. He's turned his fullback inside out first half.
Yeah, most of England's threat has come via that right-hand side, which led to the goal. We spoke a lot, didn't we, before the game, about how England would play in and out of possession, and that sort of typified itself leading up to the first goal, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in a back four when they're out of possession, but in possession they have three players at the back. Mainly they normally have Stones who's on the ball, they're running to midfield, Gay and Walker, and in front of that you have Declan Rice marshalling. But the freedom of Bellingham, Foden, and Trent has been really nice to see. They get down on the right hand side, but look at that, Bellingham ghosting into the box, making that heat. I mean, talk to me about that goal.
It's just brilliant. We talk about Bellingham, and this is timing. Whether he's playing deeper, whether he's playing a false nine, it's just timing to get in the box and then make that connection. He's been absolutely brilliant. Not just his header, his all-round game, whether he's tackling, whether he's passing. He's just took the game by the scruff of the neck. And this is what you need. Big players in big moments to make the difference, and he certainly does that. For someone who's just 20 years of age, his composure is just, it's remarkable. It really is. He's the leader in this team at such a young age, and he knows it.
I think we talked about someone who understands what the game or the moment needs. I think he's come out there today with the attitude of said, listen, guys, this is my game, and I am him. That's the vibe that he's giving me when he's come out there. The way he's gesturing, shoulders back. He's just the way he walks around the pitch makes you think to yourself, this guy knows, believes, and understands that he is the guy.
He really does. He's been all over this game, hasn't he? And a huge physical presence as well, Seth.
Yeah, I think all the compliments he's getting, they're right and fair, but it's not only about being there. It's about the determination, the belief that he gives, you know, to the team. It's not, you know, when you have players like this, and you are a fullback or you're a winger and you want to cross, sometimes you don't even have to think. You know that someone will get at the end of it, and this is your guy. Bellingham, fantastic performance so far.
It's okay.
20 years old,
great attitude. He's just got everything. You know, if he needs to mix it up, he will. If he needs to play, he will. And I mean, I'm running out of superlatives to talk about him because he's just he manages the game really well.
That was nasty. That was nasty.
And it's his confidence. Look at that through that pass.
Look at the technique, man.
The shape.
That's a guy
young call it
full of confidence.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's at home and saying, "Oh, you're going over the board with this guy." But we've got to enjoy our great players. He's had superstar billing before a ball was kicked. He's actually lived up to it. I think there was a lot of pressure, maybe seeing like Musiala and other people who had the billing before game produce. He's had the most touches in the first half, most passes in the final third for England in the first half. The guy's living up to expectations, and we need that.
Well, that's perhaps been lacking for England, that kind of belief, someone to take you over the line, possibly further into the tournament. Obviously, there'll be tougher tests. There's a long way to go in this game. Serbia have shown at times that they are a threat, and Mitrovic nearly scored. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold lost the ball.
Yeah, this is a little bit where I think it can be a punishment for England. These little moments, lack of concentration. You become a little bit easy, and that's what they're waiting for. To be fair, here you could get punished easily. But it's also his first game internationally, the second that he plays there in midfield. He's getting the confidence back, and for sure he's getting there.
So that clip there that's such a different position than a half position to receive the ball when your back is to the other team on the edge of your box. If you do lose that ball, they're going to get a shot goal. That's what I think about when you talk about Trent. That's a different position for him. Normally he's facing the game.
Exactly.
He's perfect.
When he's on the fullback side, normally he's got always the line at the back, so he never needs to worry about anything really that's happening behind him. But obviously now he needs to adapt to this new position. But he's got the natural ability and the capacity.
Yeah, Carl Walker, you talked about him before the game, whether he'd just sit, but he did cause a threat occasionally.
Well, he had a chance in the Iceland friendly to go forward. There was space in front of him. And what he does have here is electric pace, and he was on it from the get-go today. And he's 34 years old, and he's still running at this pace. I mean, you could have a little bit more conviction when he got there, but this is what we need from him: running into the space, making a difference, overlapping. I think it's helped by Saka as well, because Saka, like we said, has been outstanding. And yeah,
bro, I was 34 years old. I wasn't even going over the halfway line because I was scared I was going to pull something. This guy is motoring as quick as anybody in world football right now. It's crazy.
In his career, he could have had this little bit of composure in front of goal in the last final moment. I think we could be talking about one of the best fullbacks in history of football.
I agree.
And he's just joined us up here on the roof. took me back just for a second. I wasn't expecting him. You've seen a lot of fluidity in this England team, Micah. Players playing in different positions, swapping positions at times, Phil Foden coming inside, and these are the average start kind of positions of that first half.
Yeah, it's just look how high they are. I think that the great thing we talk about Southgate being sort of, would he be brave enough today? Would we see rotations in midfield? How would they sort of set up on the ball? I think they've been brilliant with that. It's just Harry Kane. I mean, he's taking one for the team at the moment because what has he had? One touch.
Well, one touch with the ball at his feet and one flick on header.
How would you feel?
His rate is 100% though.
You're a striker, Gary. How would you feel in that situation where you're having to do something for the team but sacrificing parts of your game?
Well, he's not sacrificing in terms of the fact that he can still get into the box and possibly score goals. So he won't be worried at all. He's playing his part. He's not dropping deep, which he's done before. We talked about that before the game, didn't we? Because the last thing you want to do when you've got players rotating in there is make it overly crowded and then not have a target. So while he's dragging the team up top, he's keeping Serbia deep, so therefore you create more space in midfield for those players with that amount of talent. Harry will be patient. All Harry will care about is the opportunities that come along to score, and that will be his mindset. He doesn't care how many touches he has in a game. He cares how many times he touches the ball into the back of the net. I would say. Would you keep it as it is at the moment? I would say so, wouldn't he? Gareth, he'll be pretty pleased with most players. Some have been a little bit quiet, some have been busier.
Yeah, I think we mentioned before the game as well, down that left-hand side with Trippier. I think he's been really high and wide. Foden's coming into them central areas but not being in the game as much as they like. So I think for the next 20-25 minutes he'll keep it the same.
So there tends to be a feeling, I think, sometimes with English football fans that they want a little bit more excitement, a bit more going forward. You played in a team that won major tournaments, and sometimes you were happy just to keep the ball. You win game 1-0, 2-0. Is that the case? You've got to be patient and not over-chase things?
Yeah, but you cannot be complacent, you know.
Yeah.
And the most of the times that England have suffered in this game is when they were a bit complacent, a bit passive, and they started to drop deep, like at the end, you know, they conceded a few crosses. They need to keep going, like we were saying with Rio before the game. They need to keep the line high, especially against these two strikers, that they don't attack the space very much. They are very big. You need to keep them offside as much as possible and out of the game.
Yeah, okay. We'll be back with the second half very shortly. All smiles here, and all smiles there as well. This might help.
This sounds dangerous.
What?
It is.
Come on in, Charlie Argentina.
Like a snake.
Ow!
No, he's laughing. It's really buzz.
Book a look for original comedy. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
Keep across all the latest news from the Euros via the BBC Sport app. Download it now. A reminder that this game is available to watch in HDR on iPlayer. And we're back tomorrow afternoon with Romania versus Ukraine from 1:30 on BBC One and iPlayer.
What's your word? Blowing up.
This is hard work, long hours, high pressure. You're in over your head. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. People's lives are at stake.
We are so dead.
Explosive US drama. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
The second half is just a few minutes away. Let's go back to Gelsenkirchen, where Kelly is with the former England goalkeeper Joe Hart.
Well, Gareth, you thought you guys enjoyed that in the studio. It has been brilliant to be here in Gelsenkirchen. And Joe, well, they've just analysed Jude Bellingham on the pitch, off the pitch here. He's had a real impact on the crowd, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has. The rendition of Hey Jude when he scored that goal, it was beautiful. It was great to be a part of, and he deserves all the accolades he gets. He's lighting this game up. He really looks like he's running the show.
Yeah, every time he gets the ball, they are chanting his name. As for the other end of the pitch, we spoke before the match about whether the lack of defensive stability could affect England. I heard Micah talking just then, saying about Mark Gahey. You were waxing lyrical about him too.
Yeah, I think he's been great. Do you know what I've loved about his game? He's been so decisive. He's had decisions to make. Is it nipping in? Is it playing between the lines? Literally everything he's done, he's got right. He looks great back there. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. Exactly how I thought he'd play, because this team believes in him, and he's just showing everyone here what he's about.
Yeah, 100% pass completion for Mark Gahey in that first half. But if we're going to talk about the fluidity in England's attack, just how much credit does your former West Ham teammate Declan Rice deserve?
Look, I heard the boys talking about Harry Kane playing a selfless role up front. Declan's doing exactly the same. He's mopping everything up. He's always there. He's that little link to try and set people free. Incredible with his interceptions. That edge of the box position when Serbia do get wide, and they've obviously got the option to cross to the big man in the middle, but that cutback's just as dangerous. Declan's been there every time. I think he's playing exceptional, and look, he's really established in this team now, and he's a really important player.
It's hard, isn't it, when we see a 45 minutes from England like that, not to highlight every single performance, but you also said to me about Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, I've loved it, but obviously both him and Phil, they haven't had huge impacts on the game, but Bukayo Saka particularly, every time he's got it, we've looked incredibly dangerous. You know, Kyle Walker galloping down that line as well, it makes it really difficult. The left back's going to struggle.
Yeah, if Kyle Walker would have scored when he had that shot, I think Joe Hart would have been on the pitch. A former teammate of yours, I'm very excited. Yeah, second half still to come, Gary.
Thanks very much, Kelly. Let's have a look at how things stand in Group C. As you can see, England are top with 3 points. The game that was played earlier this afternoon, Denmark against Slovenia, finished 1-1. And as it stands, obviously Serbia at the bottom. England's next game will be Denmark. That's on Thursday. We'll have that game for you live on BBC One from 4 o'clock. So, second half. We're looking forward to that. We're being attacked by big hornets flying.
Can we talk about Joe's tight t-shirt for a minute, though? For extra medium there, the good there, we're pumping.
He's curling the mic. Every time he talks, he's curling that mic.
I think he's trying to compete with you, Big Meeks. I think he is. I suppose, given the fact that England kind of sat back a little bit for the last 10 minutes of that half, it was a good opportunity for Gareth to kind of reset things.
100%. I think in there he'd be telling them, listen guys, be aggressive, and by that I mean be on the front foot. Do not get pushed back into your own box. Like we said before the game, the only real danger they pose is from wide areas, playing the ball direct into Mitrovic and Berbic. So stay away from that, engage wide if you can, and just make sure that you're comfortable and composed in possession, but concentration is vital at this stage.
What's the key, Tess?
Keep going. The average position shows that the English team is very, very compact. They are very together. You know, to play good football, you need to be very close to each other, make short passes, attract the defenders to create the spaces behind. So I think they need to keep going and do the same thing.
Concentration. That's all you need. Patience and concentration in that second half. Do what you did in the first half.
Okay, let's rejoin Alan Shearer and Guy Mowbray.
Thank you, Gary. Well, before we get going again, it would be remiss of me not to thank the commentary teams. Best wishes to Alan Hansen, and to send our condolences to the families, friends and fans of those who we've sadly lost these past few days. Kevin Campbell, the Millwall goalkeeper Matthias Sarkic, and Tommy Banks, who's passed away aged 94, the Bolton left-back played in the 1958 World Cup and was England's oldest surviving ex-player. Half-time change made by Dragan Stojkovic. Manu Gudel, who got his name in the book for being one of many to have fouled Jude Bellingham in the first half, has made way for Ivan Ilic of Torino. Once at Manchester City, he joined them as a young teenager, on with his brother Luca, who went off to Troyes in France. And he will take over from Gudel at the base of the Serbia midfield. Because though centre-back Serdan Babic was getting ready for action too, so he may be imminent. No changes made by Gareth Southgate. It's not any great surprise.
No, they'd be looking for the same as what he got in the first 30 minutes or so. Energy, running in behind, great attitude, and looking very dangerous.
Milenkovic. Ilic. Ilic takes his time to find goalkeeper Rajkovic. Ilic. Through to Mitrovic. Mitrovic trying to pull on the power. Bellingham stretches everything to get something of the ball. The referee's quite happy for the game to continue.
Done that well, the referee, you know. He's let play continue when he's had to. Been decisive also. Been impressed with him up to now.
On the scene many years, Daniele Ossato. In the Champions League final. 2020 PSG final, the COVID final. Kane touching the ball. The deflection off Daniele Ossato, who's got himself in the way just as we praised him. Means that the game's got to stop. You made that happen. It always happens. How many times does that happen? Kane again being held on to. Couldn't get free. Bellingham couldn't get through. Here's Mitrovic. Challenged by Vlahovic. Mladenovic is on his bike down the left.
Milinkovic-Savic with the tuck in field. And there's Gahey finding Rice. And England tap it clear. Kane immediately. Milinkovic muscled into him. I have a feeling you'd have liked playing against Nikola Milinkovic. He's having a good little battle there, hasn't he, with Harry Kane? Maybe we'll try and get through it. Nearly worked for them. A combination of Rice and Gahey who stopped them. And now Saka is all on his own. Milinkovic trying to be all over him. Top of the shirt hasn't stopped him. Milinkovic. Declan Rice just doing good work again, you know, on the edge of his own box, just getting that vital last touch for the time. Milinkovic safely back to Rajkovic. Seems a little bit more of an ambitious, positive approach from Serbia now. Might just open the game up that little bit more. Talk about Declan Rice playing in that holding role. Been talked for weeks, months, hasn't there, about him doing it on his own, two not needed. Alexander-Arnold not really a holding midfielder in the traditional sense, but have we seen why Gareth Southgate's gone with the two? Yeah, I think up to now it certainly worked very well. I think trends look comfortably. There's just one mistake in the first half. He gave the ball away, but other than that, I mean, at times he's been the defensive midfielder himself. I said in the first half when he won that ball and then set England forward. So it's definitely working at this moment in time. Bellingham is not averse to dropping in and making it a three at times. In fact, quite a few times. Everything about his game tonight has been spot on. Walker. Stones to Foden. Foden takes a shot from Illich. And it's to be sharp to keep it away from Illich. And Pickford had to react too. Saka. Alexander-Arnold completely clear away. Illich can't travel any further than he did. Saka. I think that's the first round he's won. Rice again doing his duties in front of the back four, though, winning it again. And it's Milinkovic-Savic. Positive stirrings from Serbia. Definitely got a bit more energy to the game, haven't they, Serbia? You were sort of sitting there waiting for England to something in that first half, but they've come out a little bit more fight about them. Savic able to refine Živkovic. Ball stayed in. Rice. Gahey. Milinkovic wants to spin on the bounce. He did that. The England fans are trying their very best. Great atmosphere. There's a little more anxiety in those voices now than there was for large parts of the first half. Pavlovic. Milinkovic-Savic with a big ball at Kovacic. One is past Gahey. Trippier can't hang around. Very coolly cleared. Pavlovic has caught Saka. Mitrovic. And Pickford will get it. And Declan Rice claps his arms around. Gahey claps his hands and England walk the car. Both Syrian fans like are now back in. That's been the difference. Is that they're now competing for balls. They're now trying to get in front of Saka. That wasn't happening at the first half. Manager's definitely given them a telling off at half time and demanding more energy from them. We saw Babic, left-sided centre-back with his bib off. I just wonder the way Strahinja Pavlovic has started this second half. Dragan Stojkovic has said that you've got 10 minutes or you're hooked. You couldn't get near Saka. And Kostic wasn't at the first half. He went off injured. He couldn't cope with it, but he's definitely got a better attitude in the second half and getting a lot tighter to him. Two wing-backs are pushed higher up the field as well for Serbia. It's going to be the first sustained test of England's supposed defensive frailties. Foden tried to put the attacking tackle down again, but he was thwarted very early on. And hurt too. Caught by Velkovic. Sure there's a lot in that though. Not much at all. Milenkovic. Ilic. Pavlovic. Tossy of England substitutes have just been sent out to stretch for the first time today. Milinkovic Savic has overcooked it, and that will settle behind. That's what they're trying to do, is pushing their two wing backs, Denovic and Zivkovic further forward, which then England's full-backs have to go with them. Stojkovic encouraged, as are the Serbian supporters. Here we go again. Kane versus Milenkovic, part 24. Mitrovic. Harry Kane fouled, getting himself into the game. I think the boys were mentioning at half-time, weren't they, about Harry Kane sort of doing a job for the team. I think it's really important that he doesn't come back into his own half. Let the midfielders get on with it. They need a focal point up front, particularly at the minute when they're under pressure. They need him up front, not coming into midfield, just to try and ease that. What was your role? I mean, how difficult is that to stay so single-minded, not get dragged in?
Well, it is difficult, yeah, because he's naturally very, very good at that. He can come deep in, he can get the ball and make those wonderful passes. But I think in this game, the way it is at the minute, they need him certainly more up front than they do in midfield.
Here's Trippier pushing up.
Foden. Rice to Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold's effort beaten away by Rajkovic. Is it true?
Wouldn't look nicely for him. Why not? With his ability.
Walker. Again, some good balance displayed by Bellingham. Now here's Alexander-Arnold. And here's Bellingham, and it's pitched away brilliantly by Ilic. A timely tackle.
It had to be perfect, and it was. Thought Trent was going to whip it in first time, you know, but he took the touch and just picked Bellingham out.
Rice. England try and rouse and rise again after a difficult opening to this second half.
You're not going to have it all your own way, you know, for the whole 90 minutes. There are times when you're going to have to suffer a little bit. This is international football. For the first 30 minutes or so, they were dominant. And then after that, then they just had to be patient, sit back and soak up a little bit of pressure. And it's very much like that in the second half as well to begin with.
Given away by Gahey, who's there to help out Declan Rice again. Alexander-Arnold. Foden. Signs that his involvement levels are on the up. On it again now. Rice. Alexander-Arnold, ricochet Kane
his way, but goes straight to Rajkovic instead. You just see Phil Foden throwing his arms around, and he's right, you know, you just need to keep the ball because they're under pressure. You don't really need to give it back that quick and that easy. Lukic. Possession stats have narrowed. Rajkovic now to ball forward. Pavlovic. Mladenovic. Away from Stones. And Stones back to half block across, and Pickford will have to pick it up quickly. And has. Mitrovic down. The referee was waving away any claims of anything untoward. And Jordan Pickford isn't exactly full of sympathy. I think it's Trippier, isn't it? He just blocks Mitrovic, and he's looking for a penalty there, but no, he's not. It's really good play from Trippier, not allowing him. There's a little push there, isn't it? And that's what the Serbian players were running to the referee for. Mladenovic calling for a VAR review. There hasn't been one. There was never any call for one. There's plenty of activity in both technical areas though. Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate just had a word with Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. A little review of our own. No. Trippier can't allow him to get across him at that near post. And he didn't. Serbia are going to make more changes. Number 10, the captain, Dusan Tadic, is getting ready to extend his record of Serbia appearances to 109. And the big striker from Milan, Luka Jovic. Well, he's not so big, is he, compared to the others? He's going to come on as well. So Mitrovic is off. That was his last involvement, trying to win a penalty for his team. Hasn't had too many chances. I call a proper chance worthy of the name for him tonight.
Well, he had one that Trent gave it away in the first half, didn't he? When he fell to on the edge of the box. Had that shot that just went wide. Other than that, he spent a lot of time coming short.
Jovic for Mitrovic is one change, and Tadic for Lukic is the other. And that will just give a little bit more attacking dimension to the Serbia midfield.
Yeah, that was a big decision he made before the game, and to not include Tadic. I know he's getting on a bit now, but still an integral part of this team. The way they try and link up with him and try and find him in the middle of the park to link things up.
Pickford. Jovic will maybe just have a little bit more energy closing down than Mitrovic had. There's Kane. Shrugged off the ball. Enough for a free kick. Conceded by Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah, it was very similar to what they're doing in the first half, and that's why Pickford's going long again with that ball. 3v3, and Kane on this occasion does really well in holding the ball and protecting the ball, which you have to do, and that's why I said he has to stay up there, because that's what he's got to do for his team.
We'll see 4 Serbia substitutions. Do England have to think about altering something now?
I don't think it'll be long, no. I think he might look at the left-hand side and introduce a little bit of pace over there, I don't know. I think certainly not the threat that we posed on the right-hand side has happened on the left, has it? Trippier on with Foden.
All the subs warming up. Cole Palmer has been most vigorous in his movement. Milenkovic. Veljkovic. Here's Tadic. And just that a little bit of unexpected invention for Serbia.
That's what he's been brought on for. We'll be looking to him at every opportunity to see if he can get the ball into his feet.
Milinkovic-Savic. Pavlovic. Ilic. He's added much more to the midfield than the Manu Google managed in the first half. Just up the tempo of the passing. Pavlovic. Lovely flick. Mladenovic. Back with Milinkovic-Savic. It's not a bad cross in either. Pickford thought about coming for it, leaves it to Walker. Trippier's header out. England having to soak it up. Play the defensive sponge. Much better from Serbia. They're moving the ball a lot quicker as well, and more aggressive in everything they've done in the second half. Here's Mladenovic. Just a little too much on it. Foden bringing the ball down from the sky. One of you, but they just tried to put the foot through it and walloped it. That's what I mean, you know, with Harry Kane. He needs to stay up front. As frustrating as it is, because England are suffering at the minute in possession. Now, when they win the ball back in the defensive area, they need him up there to hit him, to give him that out. Ilic, the Serbia voices are getting louder and louder. Serbia threat levels are rising too. Otherwise, the ball just comes straight back at you. Gamble taken by Trippier and it didn't pay off. Tadic plays it through and Jovic couldn't finish it. And that's what they brought Tadic on for, exactly that, just to add that little bit of creativity, that little bit of quality. And he did, and he just couldn't find that final touch. Not quite far enough in front of Jovic. Couldn't get the sort of little two-touch attempt. Kane again, Milinkovic is holding, two hands. Free kick England. Signs of activity down in the England technical area as well. Conor Gallagher is the player who's getting ready to come on. Midfield reinforcement. Two on the opposite end of the experience scale. You wouldn't believe it by the way Bellingham plays. Bellingham and Tadic enjoying a light moment in the midst of it all. Walker. It's Kane. Holding it, bringing in Alexander-Arnold, who brings a corner. Good flip. England's first of the match. It's now Harry Maguire, but are we going to see the bus stop queue again? A bit different, it seems. First of all, just wants a word. Goes lurking. Bellingham is the player who was standing in front of goalkeeper Rajkovic. Doing anything wrong for now. Alexander-Arnold with the England corner. Out comes Rajkovic decisively. Foden. Rajkovic hesitant. Bellingham. Bellingham takes on Ilic. Once, twice. Third time lucky. And it's straight into the gloves of Predrag Rajkovic. Well, he said I probably could have come in a little bit earlier, but he called it when he said he wanted to beat him 2 or 3 times. Then give the goalkeeper time to have a look at it and give a good eye on it and go and collect it with ease. He's looking at Conor Gallagher to add a little bit of energy into that midfield, because that's the one thing that's been lacking, isn't it, in the second half from an England point of view. Can't get enough of the ball. Vlahovic in the box. Vlahovic's way. Milinkovic-Savic. Foden with the knockdown to Trippier. Rice now. And straight out of play. The tiny rhythms, the precise passing that we saw in the first half an hour seem long gone. And England make the change. Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's going to make way, and on will come Conor Gallagher to play alongside Declan Rice in the midfield for the rest of this. He's done well in that, Trent. Certainly in that first 30 to 35 minutes. Played some good passes. The timing of his tackle in front of the back four was really good as well. Here comes the Chelsea man. Take part in the major tournament for the first time. He sat on the bench throughout the World Cup in Qatar. Most of the work is a defensive job. Ricochets out. Tadic tries to get there. Looped into the box. Saka times his job well. Good work from Pavlovic. He's gone from a 3 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. Absolutely. I mean, Saka hasn't gone past him once in the second half yet, has he? When you look at that first half, the number of times he got the ball and went past him and Kostic, not once yet in the second half. Gets up, Pickford should get it. Oh, thought he was going to catch that unchallenged. Thought he should have. Walker ducks out of the way. Never knowingly understated Jordan Pickford. On reflection, we'll get Joe Hart to tell us about that later. He probably did the right thing. Kane, nicely collected. Trippier. Kane, who's been nicely collected there. Got to try and take the sting out of this game, England, you know. Not having enough possession and not having enough passes. We're in a hurry to get the ball forward when at times, you know, you can pass it around for a minute or two and have a little bit of a breather. Sense a few nerves down between Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate there. The chewing is a little more tasty. Wants to chew on. Followed in by Foden. Here's Saka wanting to pick up the pieces. Saka uses his left. Knocked back in, and Rajkovic. And he's that lucky goalkeeper. It just fell into his grasp nicely and easily. It's a good ball from Saka, you know, he picked his head up and looked. Saw Declan Rice at the far post and he picked him up really well. Just couldn't get his header across back goal, he couldn't guide it where he wanted it to go. Foden. Goes backwards. Even further back from Gahey to Pickford. Tell you what I've noticed now, first half we were sitting quite comfortably. We're both on the edge of our seats now, rocking. It won't be an England game, but a European Championship or a World Cup without a little bit of suffering and anxiety, would it? It's a lot easier out on the pitch, you know. The studio bit out there. Seems fun getting a bit itchy here, aren't we? Walker's throw. Saka. Absorb the bump from Ilic. Here's Trippier supporting Bellingham if needs be. Foden. Rice. Foden. Split the way through. Rice. Foden. Rice. You don't have to find a way through, you just have to be patient and keep hold of the ball, as I said, just to take the sting out of what Serbia have offered in this second half. Foden. Running up, used his body to step across, and the referee quick to blow his whistle and give a free kick for Serbia. Tadic knew exactly what he had to do to get the free kick. And the Serbian change. Živković is off, they're going for it now, on comes Jelko Birmancevic. He's had a brilliant season with Sparta Prague, 22 goals, double winner in Czechia. Will be more of an attacking threat down the right than Živković has managed to be for the most part. Tadic. Given away. Foden has it. And has it again. And he's too foul. And the referee's going to his pocket. It's going to be a card for Dusan Tadic. It's not going to be long before you see a tapping options for England as well coming on. Need a bit more energy up front. It's gone really, really flat. We're going to see one of those right now once the referee's got all the admin done after the booking of Tadic. Jared Bowen's ready. And the change is happening. And it's going to be Bukayo Saka, so like for like down the right-hand side. Saka sparkling in the first half. He's had his moments in the second, but not been able to be quite so dangerous. Yeah, they couldn't get the order in the first half. Just not really had enough of the ball in the second half. And you understand why he's trying to look at Bowen and give him a little bit of a rest, but he was unplayable in the first half. Couldn't get near him. Struggling for fitness a little bit towards the end of the Premier League season. Going on to try and make his mark. Nudge in the back of Gallagher. That is an England free kick. Reward for Jared Bowen's dad too, who's driven to Germany in a camper van and he's going to attend all the games, twiddling up and down the autobahns and around. Here he goes. Bowen got the half a yard he needed. And it's off the bar. Harry Kane's first chance of the match. That's the one touch that he's wanted. And Hope would come along. He just couldn't get it. Getting it beneath the bar, could he? And it looked as though he had got above the ball. I thought that was going to go bouncing down over the line. This is how close it was. What a save. What a save. Brilliant work from Bowen on the right-hand side. He went past him and just dinked it in, didn't he, and said, go on, get on the end of it, which he did. Fabulous save. Predrag Rajkovic has just kept Serbia in the game. That's what you wait for as the centre forward. You know, everyone says, oh, we haven't had a touch of the ball, you had one touch in the first half. That's the touch you've been waiting for. Just couldn't get it. Now, that's all past the goalkeeper. Crucial that save proved to be. Jovic has swung across over. Trippier hasn't got it completely clear. Birmancevic gets into the action for the first time, and Trippier takes the first duel. Milenkovic. Milic finds Milinkovic-Savic. Birmancevic. Declan Rice just stood off, but the ball's given away by Milinkovic-Savic. Kane. Go into the right. Kane ploughing down the middle. Supported by Foden, that's behind Gallagher, who didn't react quicker than Radenovic managed to. And there's room for Pavlovic now. Here comes the juggernaut. Long lane. Really poor play from Phil Foden, you know, it's a terrible pass. To be in front of Bowen rather than behind him. Gallagher, I should say. Bowen. Lively start since coming on. Kieran Trippier is down. England will put the ball out as a result. Carl Walker's done that. All the positions for England to suffer an injury blow. Left back would not be the one you'd pick. A little glance down the substitute seats from Gareth Southgate to see Luke Shaw's whereabouts may be. Maybe he's not fit to play any part. He has been named, but he's not up and running down the touchline. As we look back again at the save from Rajkovic, just enough gloves on the ball to keep out Kane. Great strength for Harry to hold off the defender. Keeper goes back to his right-hand side. You can see his reaction there. Absolutely delighted with himself, and so he should be. Who was captain of the Serbia side, who magnificently won the Under-20 World Cup 9 years ago, 2015. 7 of that squad in this squad at this European Championship. Trippier has got back to his feet and doesn't look too bad now. Seen that somewhere before, haven't we? Players going down injured in the last 10 or 15 minutes just to take the sting out of the game. I'm not saying he has, I'm just saying it's an option. Couldn't even do that. He must be alright. What for a day if I tried that? Minutes have passed. Still, Serbia 0, England 1. 13th minute goal from Jude Bellingham. England need support and they're getting it. Milenkovic. Conor Gallagher came off his hands. It'll be a free kick for Serbia. I can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to be that extra man up there and trying to get his knee to Harry as possible. Milenkovic finds Pavlovic. Just have a look at Declan Rice in front of that back four there. Trying to give him as much protection and shielding them as possible. Cross swung over, too high for Jovic. Tadic. Another one that's too high for Jovic. It's nicely collected by Vlahovic. Oh, great save, Jordan Pickford. Not a lot to do for most of the game, but when needed, he reacted spectacularly. And what a good effort it is from Vlahovic. A great effort from Vlahovic. And we've just been praising Rajkovic who did the other end for his save. That could be equally as important from Jordan Pickford as well. That's what Dusan Vlahovic can do. The unexpected. That was a bolt out of the blue. Just wasn't expecting him to shoot from there. Thankfully, Pickford was. Here comes the corner. Drilled back in. Pickford was making the save. Kane was saving it for him, and Harry Kane punches the air in celebration of his defending. You've got to stand tall here, England. They're under huge pressure. One good save from Pickford, and then Kane offers again the protection in front of him. And there's that save over, he's just pushing it over the bar there, isn't he, from Vlahovic? Zlatan of Belgrade, indeed. Stopped by the banks of Washington. I think Pickford might have got there, you know, but you can't take a chance there if you hurry. You just got to get your head on it and get it away. Did really well. Jovic. Bowen got his body in between Mladenovic and the ball. And the referee waves play on. Good officiating again. Gay. Bowen, clever. Didn't need to challenge. Just can't find that out ball at the minute. I know they had just a hurricane effort and a good save, but other than that, they can't find that out ball at the minute, England. Walker with the throw. Sunday evenings are not meant to be this excruciating. Should have known better. This is England. It's never going to be that easy, is it? Runs away from Bellingham. It's cleared by Tadic. Gallagher couldn't complete the job. Bellingham back to William. Bowen. Stones back to Pickford. He's picked out Bowen with an absolute beauty. Great pass. Walker. Bellingham. Gracefully done. Away from Mladenovic. Here's Kane. Not so well executed. Kane gets it out. Serbia, a team in a hurry. That's behind Jovic. That was a little too hasty. It's happened too many times in the second half with England. A simple pass, you know. Giving the ball away and they put themselves under pressure again. He's sitting comfortably, Dragon. Taking a seat to calm himself down. Why, tell me why. Jude Bellingham's number is up. Jude Bellingham set the bar for this game very early. It's been superb. Even in the second half, you know, I mean, that's his wonderful effort, but in the second half, when England had been under pressure, he still wanted to run around and offer himself and get the ball and try and help his team. And off goes the soon-to-be 21-year-old to be replaced by a young man who's only just turned 19. This is Kobbie Mainoo's competitive debut. Come to the fore in the second half of the season with Manchester United, starting their last 22 Premier League matches. What an FA Cup final he had. Four minutes and a bit more. Might feel like a little bit longer than that. Victor. Over the head of Milankovic. Kane doesn't quite have the pace to get there before Pavlovic. It was won by Rice. And in doing so, he committed a foul, in Signor Rosato's opinion. Free kick for Serbia. Tadic has come on with someone with a point to prove, hasn't he? He might be a bit angry with his manager leaving him out. It would have been a stinging blow for the veteran. He doesn't get left out. Here's Foden. Blocked. That's good play from Foden. Just give your team that break. That's not ball. You don't need to give the ball away that cheaply when you've just got it back. Furious arms being waved from the England coaching staff. Tadic. Somewhere watching Pep Guardiola's doing his nut too. It's that stage, isn't it? Keep the ball, win the game. It sounds easy, it's not. Mladenovic, what a good cross. And well headed away. John Stones. Pep would have enjoyed that one. Bowen. Got to it first.
Throw in for Serbia, already taken. That's why you can't take an early quick free kick like that. Take the sting out of the game, there's not long left, you're winning. Milinkovic-Savic. Mladenovic. Easily beats Bowen. Milinkovic-Savic! Like an arrow, wide of the target. Pickford screaming at someone to get out and close him down and don't allow the shot. And he's right. Not for the first time in major tournament football, England have been indebted to their number one. Yeah, absolutely. He's pulled off a wonderful save. You can see how angry he is. He doesn't want to be facing shots like that in the last few minutes. He needs his players to close him down and keep the ball. Milinkovic. It's Kobe Mainu who was heading in his face. Kane. No surprise he had Milinkovic for company. Rice. 90th minute now. You can't help but look at the clock a little bit more often and count down. Been a long second half, it has. Kane. You'll take the win and move on though, Guy. As you know, England haven't got a great record in opening games in European Championships. I think it's only one in the last 10, isn't it? Just going to say, you told me that earlier. That's a rotten return. I've earned a few myself, so you take the win, you move on, and you look what's gone wrong in the second half and try and improve it. Colleagues from Danish TV are alongside us. They told me before the game they wanted a 3-0 England win. They're not going to get that. 4 minutes remain of the contest. It's on to Denmark next for England. Walker. Gallagher. Gallagher was fouled. He'd given Mainu a little bit too much to do, actually. England will be happy to hear the whistle. They'll be even happier when the long blast on it comes from Daniele Ossato. It's been a very difficult second half for England. They'll have to defend deep. Used a lot of energy in doing that. Needed Pickford once or twice. Velkovic's head around. Gallagher. He has just given that little bit of energy, getting to the ball first when he can. Yeah, that's exactly why the manager's put him on, just to try and get further up the field, to get those little free kicks and win that ball back. Pick the scraps up. He's here again. We saw that chap in Qatar an awful lot. One of England's regular band of followers. Minutes of the 4 added have passed. Declan Rice is taking as long as he dare with the free kick. Bowen. It's a Serbia throw. They won't take long. And from their point of view, they've been much better in the second half, haven't they, Serbia? They will be buoyed for Slovenia next, even if they don't get the goal before the end of this one. And there's room for them here. Swept out by Tadic. Birmancevic. Tadic. Ilic. Here's Mladenovic. Has the room. And it's blocked by Bowen, who did exactly what he had to do. Yeah, well done. As soon as that ball came across, he sprinted out to close it down and not allow that cross to go in the box. Room now for Ilic. That one stopped by Gallagher. Now Bowen has to just hit it, doesn't he? We didn't hit it very well. Pavlovic. Bowen's there again. That's what you've got to do. Can't allow them time on the ball. How are those two so relaxed?
Ilic. 93 minutes gone. Pavlovic. Hooked clear by Bowen. Pavlovic and Milinkovic-Savic possibly in each other's way when that last cross came in. And the ref goes to his whistle, and it's going to be an England free kick. Good centre-forward play from Murray, he knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah, get your head on the ball, get in front of your defender, and get your team a free kick, and take your time. That was the one. Pavlovic looked the better bet. Yeah. Jordan Pickford. Oh, we all know the tactics here. Go long. And into the corner. There's Milinkovic. The fall for Gallagher. It'll come to Foden. Pavlovic. All over. At last. One goal wins it for England. A goal that came early. For the next 20 minutes or so, it looked as though 2 or 3 more might come. But in the end, as has so often been the case, England made it difficult for their army of fans. And we're indebted to Jordan Pickford for keeping Serbia out. Are you still with me, Alan?
I'm still really, well, it was a hard watch the second half. They've had to defend really, really deep. Give a lot of possession away. First 30 minutes in the first half was superb, but then after that, plenty to work on. But the most important thing is they've got the victory. And that guy there, Jude Bellingham, I thought he was superb. Teams that win tournaments tend to grow into tournaments. It's easy to grow when you get 3 points from game 1. Serbia 0, England 1.
Well, you don't want to peak too soon, do you? A somewhat tentative and uninspiring second half performance from England. It's a win, though, at 3 points against a Serbia side that deserve a lot of credit for a spirited, dynamic second 45 minutes that certainly would have given Gareth Southgate on the sidelines something to ponder. Ria, thoughts on England's performance here? I mean, it was one of those games that I think we've seen many times where England get ahead and then they sit and they got deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, well, we said at half-time, what do we expect the manager to be saying to them? It will be to stay out of the box, to play high, to be aggressive, to be on the front foot, continue dominating possession like they did in the first half. But it was nothing like that second half. England suffered. Alan Shearer said it in commentary there. We suffered, but we seemed to lack a bit of composure in them moments, and it did get a little bit hairy at times. But I think you have to take what you can from that game. Clean sheet, a new back pairing in the centre defensive partnership. That's going to do them the world of good, getting that clean sheet. And it wins the win. It's not how you start the tournament, it's how you finish. And it's not, you don't want it perfect game 1.
The person on your left-hand side, Mr. Cesc Fabregas, will tell you that when they won the World Cup, what happened in your opening game, Cesc?
Yeah, we lost it in Switzerland 1-0. yeah, 100%. It's a good reflection of that.
I just think in that second half, they lacked that belief. You know, when you go into a game and you got your shoulders out, and for the first 30 minutes, they were brilliant. They were pressing high, they knew exactly what they was doing, the rotation was good.
What changed? Why would that change?
Because sometimes, subconsciously we all do it, when you've got a lead, you try to protect it. And I think that's just the negative side in what we're seeing today. But I just think with the players we have, we've got to be able to control games better, even when we're not pushing for another goal. We can control the game just with the possession.
I think critics of Gareth Southgate over the years will say, well, this is what we've seen a lot of times. You get ahead, you're playing well, and then it gets a bit defensive, a bit negative. He brings on, Gallagher instead of someone like Cole Palmer, and he changes things and just to protect what he's got. And that's been a criticism. It's a game that England have won regardless, and he'll say that the victory is the most important thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you'd like to sit there and go, you know, the game needed a bit more control. So where were the players that can do that? Kobe Mainoo, maybe, yes, a bit earlier if need be. But someone like a Cole Palmer who's got that kind of
Swagger
and arrogance and say, give me the ball, I'm going to start slow. Like the way Tadic came on for the Serbs, he came on and he was like, give me the ball, I'll be a bit of an outlet for you guys. I'm interested to hear what you say. You played in the team that constantly done that in these type of tournaments where they were winning a game but also trying to see it out, but on the front foot with the ball and suffocate the opponents with the ball. What's the mindset? How does a manager create that within the team?
Yeah, I think you just say mindset. No, it's all about the mentality. You cannot tell me that players like Trent, like Foden, like Bellingham, like Rice, they don't have the quality to hold the ball anywhere in the pitch. But it's about, do you want it enough to make a difference and hold the ball for your team? Do you want to make things happen? Do you enjoy to get the ball under pressure? Because when England played the best football is when the Serbs, they allowed them to have the ball when they were deep. Once in the second half, straight away, when they started to get pressed a little bit more, we started to see Foden hitting the ball without looking 40 yards. Trent, this is not like them. You'll never see Xavi or Iniesta, the top players in the last 15, 20 years do that. You know, you need to take this responsibility to grow. Yes, I didn't think that the second half was a little bit underwhelming. I would say that's the right word, and I think players like Foden, you know, they need to step up. You know, this is the time for them to grow into a big tournament behind the countries behind them, and they need to.
I think it's a blend of that though. The players, yes, need to take responsibility and show that composure, which we see in club football all the time. But I think also that the structure of the team needs to be able to allow the players to do that as well in these moments. Get yourself further up the pitch, create those spaces in the pockets, the rotations that we saw in the first half. But I agree with what Seska said there. The big difference is when the pressure was put onto the England team, they didn't respond in a real positive manner.
Yeah, they did win though. Let's hear from the England captain, Harry Kane. He's with Kelly Summers.
Harry, congratulations. Sweet Caroline is booming around this stadium. Off to a winning start. Was that all tonight was about?
Yeah, 100%. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Serbia posed some good threats. Very physical with the long ball, relying on second balls, and I thought we dealt with it overall really well. There was a spell in the first half where we got camped in our box a little bit and we found it difficult to get out, but overall I think we deserved the win, and it's in the group, like I touched on before, it's just about getting through, so it's an important win tonight.
You were so dominant in that first half. What do you feel changed in the second?
Yeah, I think they changed their pressure a little bit. They went almost man to man, and we couldn't quite keep the ball well enough, but it's a tough game. They're a good team. They have some really good players. They have a good structure, physical, they make it a battle. But we stood up to it well. A clean sheet in any game is important. It's good that we got one today.
Jude Bellingham will get the headlines once again. What a performance and a goal from him. What's it like playing with him at the moment?
Yeah, unbelievable player. You know, he deserves all the praise he's getting at the moment. Just the way he plays, the confidence he plays with, and also the way he affects games. You know, it's important for people who play in his position to get goals and assists, and that's what he does. It's a great run into the box, and he finishes it off nicely.
Nearly got that goal in the second half. There's been so much talk about England's new look attack and who's going to play around you. How does it affect you how the attack plays around you now?
Yeah, I think each game will be different. You know, today I probably stayed a little bit higher, allowed, because they like to defend man for man. I wanted to keep them deep so Jude and Phil could play in the pockets, Trent as well on the right side. So I think each game will be different. Sometimes you'll see me drop in, sometimes playing higher up. But I think today for me was more about, you know, holding the ball up, especially in that second half, winning fouls, and trying to see the game out like we did.
Well done tonight, Harry.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting words from Harry Kane. England didn't win their opening game at their first 9 European Championships, but have done so in their 2 Euros under Gareth Southgate and sit top of Group C. They will qualify for the last 16 if they beat Denmark in Frankfurt on Thursday. Again, you can see live on BBC One. Serbia sit bottom with their next match against Slovenia. Harry Kane there talked about Jude Bellingham, and he became only the second player to score at both the Euros and the World Cup before turning 21. I know. The other was also English, a certain Michael Owen, doing so at France in '98 and Euro 2000. He makes things happen. He's the headline maker. He's the match winner once again. Let's have a look at that goal. Powerful header, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. But it just shows you the fluidity of the team. There he is deep, gets it wide. But this is where I think he's different from many others. He goes into the box and he expects the chance to come in there, and he takes a gamble, and the bravery he shows there to go. He's going to get clattered there, doesn't care. He knows what the rewards are.
I think it's all just about the timing as well. It's the timing of the run. Why he scored so many goals for Real Madrid, even when he's played a little bit higher. When he was scoring his goals early in the season, it was from a deeper position. And I just thought his all-round game today was brilliant. He was a leader on the pitch today, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. Because it was bleak in the end, but there was some good performances, and he was one.
Have any of you played with a young player who's come in like this and just looks like he's the captain immediately and is comfortable in every single scenario, other than yourselves?
Played, no, but obviously Messi, we're allowed, you know, to talk about him. I know he's he's in another class, but yeah, this type of player, I think, for example, Lamine Yamal now for Barcelona, Spain, I think he will be the next guy close to Bellingham. This type of personalities that they don't care what age they are, they don't care where they play, what stage, they will deliver.
Yeah. Mike, he's got that winning mentality that perhaps, you know, we saw missing. We talked about that, you know, that side of things that makes you a little bit defensive-minded. You don't see that in him.
I think it's just his character. His character is what I'd say about him. His mentality. He's got that swagger where he wants to be the main man in the team. Where you see his celebration at Real Madrid when he's putting up his arms in the air. He knows his quality, and he's the same with England as well. And if he can keep this form throughout the tournament, he's the person that we can rely on.
Would you like to hear from him?
Of course he does.
Then let's do so. Here is Jude Bellingham with Kay.
Well, Jude, congratulations. Jude Bellingham mania continues. Your goal means England are off to a winning start. How did you see it out there?
Yeah, good game. I thought, you know, they're a very tough side, very robust, strong, a big group of lads, and yeah, it was important that we prepared well for this game, and we did. The staff got it right. We prepared all week very well. And when it came to the game, we knew kind of the roles we had to do. We knew it was going to be a tight game. I know there's been a lot of goals in the other game, but I think we try and keep to our own standards and try and play the opposition that's in front of us and not kind of the theme of the tournament, if you like. So important that we got off to a start. Yeah, so positive inside the camp, but on to the next one.
Let's discuss the goal, because the manager said he wanted you to arrive in the box tonight and have an impact like that, and that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, you know, I've got used to kind of getting in the box, playing wide, or taking people on through the middle, getting the ball wide and making it into the box. I've got into the habit at Madrid, and I wanted to carry my form into the Euros as well, and yeah, it's a great start for me personally to get me confidence up, and yeah, to help us win the game is the most important thing.
What's the celebration with Trent Alexander-Arnold about?
Just when we play Wolf, one of the staff loves that face when he doesn't have a clue what's going on. So that was kind of a little group celebration for the Wolf crew.
It also looked like you took some pretty heavy challenges out there. Is that something you're having to get used to?
Yeah. I think since I probably started playing at Birmingham, it's something that I've had to get used to. Before, I probably not handled it the best in terms of letting myself get involved in a fight, but I think this time, today, I felt really calm, I felt relaxed, I know my teammates have my back, so yeah, I think I've got to be ready for everything over the next 7 or 6 games now, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, I'm willing to put my body through whatever to try and help the country win the tournament.
Last time we saw you on a football pitch, you won the Champions League, your player of the match tonight. Every single time you touch the ball tonight, you got a cheer. What's it like being Jude Bellingham right now?
It's alright, yeah, it's alright. Could be worse, but no. Jude Bellingham is made up of amazing people, really. It's not just me who turns up and, you know, able to play football and just enjoy it like I do. It's because I have such a great support network, my family, my friends, my teammates, you know, here and in Madrid. So I'm just so fortunate, and the football's the easiest part.
Well done tonight. Let's hope that's not the only trophy you're getting your hands on.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. He's so impressive, isn't he? And you just have to remind yourself. I mean, we've said it so many times, haven't you? He's 20.
Yeah. He doesn't even go. He does no breaking in the way he even talks. Like his speech, his everything. The way he delivers everything. There's a supreme confidence underneath everything that he's kind of putting out there, and that is a long may that continue in this tournament.
The easy part.
Yeah. It ain't, not in my mind.
It is when you play like that. He becomes, well, his goal tonight, his goal against Iran at the World Cup in 2022, Jude Bellingham became the 5th player to score England's opening goal at 2 different major tournaments. Bobby Charlton, Alan Shearer, Brian Robson, and some useless bloke with big ears got the others. What a performance.
Yeah, I mean, just some of his clips, highlights from the game. I mean, he had absolutely everything there. He's up for it, a little chest bump there as well, and just he exudes that confidence, whether he's dropping deep, where he was going a little bit more in number 8. It's a lovely little touches in tight areas he can do. He can be a complete midfielder as long as he learns tactically exactly what the manager wants. But Seth, come on, talk me about it.
No, it's fantastic, but it's not only how he talks, you know. Some players, they can lie to you in the way they talk, mature and stuff, but then he talks on the pitch the same exact way, which is what surprised me, you know, because at the end of the day, the consistency is what brings you anywhere in life, in football, and he's got that throughout the whole match, and he makes things happen throughout the whole time, because if we can say that England played a bit not well in the second half, he was the one that was making them tick sometimes every time they had the ball.
The one thing I love about those clips there, in every phase of midfield, he looks supremely comfortable. Whether he's getting the ball off the back 4, whether he's in the midfield driving with the balls on 8, or with the number 10 arriving late in the box, that's a sign of a complete midfielder.
Well, he was sort of playing a 6, 8, 10.
The lot, yeah. And that allows the others to be able to, like Seth said before, that allows him to complement the other players around him as well, because he's so comfortable in moving around them areas. But as I said, if he's the one getting on the end of things in that box for us, I think we've got a huge chance. And if he's given that freedom continually in the games, then we have a huge chance. As long as he stays fit, I think the only worry coming into this tournament was maybe him being fresh enough. But even in this game today, he looked like a fresh, young 20-year-old that we expected to see.
Plenty of energy. Serbia had their chances in the second half, didn't they? Not clear-cut once, but...
Yeah, they did, but tactically, I didn't like what England did in the second half. They were sloppy in terms of positioning. They dropped a little bit deeper. I think, in the end, we're looking at the centre-halves had really good games. He was outstanding throughout the game. But it's just that mentality. And we always talk about mentality as footballers. When you're up in a game, how do you deal with it? When you're behind in the game, can you make the right substitutions to change it? I thought at times, Kane, for the last 20 minutes, was non-existent. Can we bring on Ollie Watkins to stretch it? But yeah, I just think that the panic set in. And Serbia, and I said before the game, they're a good team. They're a physical team. They've got some really good players. Against a better team, you will get punished. And I know it's only the start of the tournament, but it's something they need to learn on, and they need to learn quick because, yeah, in the second half, they were underwhelming.
Yeah. Jordan Pickford knocking that over the bar. He's kept 6 clean sheets in 8 games at the Euros and has 10 overall in major tournaments, which equals the great Peter Shilton's England record.
And that's why he's England's #1 right now, because I think in England's shirt, in terms of making saves, I think whenever he's been called upon, he produces. I just think as a team, we need to really look at the way that we see a game out. There's different ways to see a game out. You can sit back, edge of your box or low block, and just withstand the pressure and see it out that way, but that's panic stations, like we're sitting here behind the sofa almost watching the game at the end. Not that bad, but and there's another way.
Yeah, we haven't got that.
But there's another way to see a game out, is actually being dominant with the ball and taking the onus away from the opposing team by being confident, playing higher, a bit like the way you guys played.
I think as well, my experience now as a manager, my short career as a manager, is that you have 3 chances or 3 ways of doing things right for the team. First, before the game, you can talk, tactics, prepare the game, etc. Halftime, make changes or explain the things that need to be better or continue to do it. And then it's the second half, the changes that you propose to the team. Because sometimes I cannot hear you. You know how it is to be a player. You know, you're focused. If you send the message that you put a defensive midfielder and a defender extra, you know, to cover the result, you as a player, you feel it. You know, mentally you start going back and dropping and getting pressure and pressure and pressure. If you instead put an offensive player, a controller like Palmer, let's say, that gets you up the pitch, controls the ball up the pitch in the final third, and you get control in there and you don't get occasions at the back, I think the players will get as well so much more comfortable.
Yeah, that's another criticism that's often levelled at Gareth Southgate, the changes he makes in the second half in games and the impact that may or may not have had. And I think you can see a reflection of how things changed in the game by the average starting positions of the players, Michael.
Yeah, I don't want to be too critical because England have won the game, but we're just talking about the positions. This is in the first half. And then look at the second half, how much they have dropped. Like Seth said, there's different ways to finish a game and to deal with the game, and I just think panic stations set in. And if we want to go far in this tournament, we've got to be able to deal with the ball in these situations that can move us forward.
And that's where an arrogance comes in. So it's got to be like, give me the ball under pressure. I think it's a great point. The best teams are the ones that take the ball under pressure in the most pressurised situations.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Harry Kane, we talked about half-time, didn't we, about the fact that he'll be patient. All he'll want to do is score the goal, wait for the chance to come. It came, and it was brilliantly saved.
Yeah, well, Bowen comes on, puts in a good cross, a wonderful save from the goalkeeper. But the thing I like about Kane is he doesn't get disillusioned. He knew he was going to get opportunity at some stage. Okay, on another day this probably goes in, but it's a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. And that's what he's got to do. He's just got to be patient. I think when you talked about half-time, is when you've got players behind you, Cole Palmer, Saka, Foden, all these brilliant players, just be patient, the chances will come.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear from one of England's defenders. Terrific performance, I felt. Mark Gahey is with Kelly.
Mark, firstly, congratulations on your tournament debut with England, a clean sheet and a win as well. How did you feel it went?
Well, it's always very tough in the first game of any tournament. You know, both teams always at it, wanted to get the first 3 points. And I think we did really well. We dealt with their long balls quite well, defended our box. You know, they're a good side. It was a tough test. So yeah, really proud of the boys today.
Yeah, you talked there about being a tough test. It was a very physical test as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you've got Vlahovic and Mitrovic up front, you know, a team full of 6-foot giants in their team, you know, it's always going to be physical. You know, and they can play as well. They're always going to cause threats. But I think we dealt with it well today.
What was that like for you coming into a new look back line as the new player in there to have to deal with such threats?
I've always said it helps when you've got so many experienced players around me. You know, Trips, who's got like 4 tournaments or 5 tournaments under his belt. Snonesy the same, Walks the same, Picks the same. So, you know, I'm coming into a back line with so much experience, and the players in front have got so much experience as well, so it helps a lot for me.
What did change in the second half, because England were so dominant in that opening 45 minutes?
You know, you're playing against good players. A tough system to play against as well, to get pressure on. And you're always kind of worrying about the ball in behind and their physical threat. You know, and I think in these games you just have to make sure that you're as solid as possible. You're not always going to play the way you want to play, but it's important that you adapt. I think we adapted well today.
Yeah, you got the win, but does it maybe need to be better in the next games?
100%. We can always improve. We can always improve, and we'll definitely look to improve. Look at the areas in which we can get better. But you know, it's a good start, and you know, on to the next one.
And for you overall, first few days away on your first major tournament with England, how have you settled in?
Settled in well. I don't really like talking too much about myself. It's more about the team. But yeah, everyone makes everyone feel welcome. It's a good spirit in the camp, and yeah, just glad to be here.
Well done today.
Thank you.
What a delightful young man, so modest but so impressive.
I enjoyed to watch. I mentioned him being very calm. Obviously, going to the Euros, it must be daunting at times, but he didn't show it in his game at all. And Rio's, you know, a top centre half, but the things I liked about him today is he just did the basics very well. He didn't try to do anything out of the ordinary. As a centre half, you want to be solid, whether it was getting tight, whether it was playing now, whether it was anticipation like he did there, the touch. He was always on the front foot, ready, and you was happy with him as well, Rio.
Yeah, really positive. That's why on the front foot again, like you say, cool, calm, collected. As you said, he doesn't want to be the superstar. His interview there was really telling them the type of human being he is. He's a very humble young man who's just happy to be there. But he's 23 years old. He's captain of Crystal Palace already, a Premier League team. So he don't look like he's going to be phased.
I've liked him for a long time.
He's really that composure. I don't like emotional defenders. He's not one of those, which is good.
He was quite emotional.
I kept it on the radar.
He's brought out all his emotions since.
You should watch these games. I'm a nightmare.
I know. Well, we all are. We all get, you know, tense when it's your side. I mean, I'm sure Seth's the same. I saw him yesterday when Spain were playing. You just want your own nation. It's natural, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're sitting there critiquing.
It's a lot easier when you play.
Yeah, but we're critiquing the game. That's what we do. Yeah, but when you look about it, we've got 3 points. You've won the first game. It's a tough thing to do to come out. The nerves are there, and a lot of expectations and pressure. yes, we're looking at details, but the bigger picture, they've won the game, 3 points, move on to the next one.
The big talking point perhaps before the game in terms of England's selection was the inclusion of Trent Alexander-Arnold. How did you think he fared? Mixed?
Yeah, mixed. I think he's got moments where he was superb. I think maybe others he became a little bit too easy, too complacent with the ball. But overall, okay, here he had the bad touch. They could have conceded. He made a mistake, all right. But you know, he reacted well. You know, he showed good personality. And the more he plays in there, the better he will become. So that, I'm not worried about that.
It's the quality. I think when you get him on the ball, I think you haven't got much worries. I think you get caught a couple of times here, but that's part and parcel of playing, especially in midfield. You get a lot more touches. People are coming at you from different angles, but then you see stuff like this. There aren't many that can do that and change it from being a defensive position into right. We're in the final third now in one pass, and he has that quality to do that. Listen, the only real concern that I think you'll have with him is when you play against the better teams and they start asking you questions defensively, and when he's got to do the defensive work. But I like to focus on what he's good at, and it is getting into these areas and picking out a white shirt with quality that gives that man on the ball that extra bit of time and space because of, look at that, little bit of fade.
Yeah, that was a beautiful one. That really was, wasn't it? So he got up from his manager, as you'd expect. Do you think he should persist with him and keep him in that role, even against maybe the top opposition? When if you're playing against a France or a Germany or a Spain, you know.
I think so. I mean, obviously they have to hold that 30-35 minutes that they've done in the first half and build on that. You know, sit down, analyze, talk individually, collectively, and I think they need to grow from that. They have too much talent to be playing defensive players. I like it that, you know, they have the bravery to go forward like they did in the first 30-35 minutes, build on this and get better, not regress.
The big talking point for me as well today was Phil Foden. I think the first 20 minutes he got into some really good positions.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to get the best out of it.
He wasn't involved much in the game.
He wasn't involved. At Manchester City, obviously we know it's choreographed with Pep and the system and the movements and all them sort of things. But it makes me sad when I see a player of this quality just in and out of games.
On the periphery of things.
We need to find a way.
But Michael, I totally agree. But the same way that you see Jude,
yes, exactly.
You know, imposing himself, wanting the ball, getting face to face against an opponent, he owes us this class, you know.
He's different.
He needs to do that himself as well.
I totally agree with you, but the fact that Jude in the centre of the park, he can do that. When Foden's saying with the ball,
Phil is playing in midfield.
Yeah, but off the ball, he's coming from a wide position. Yeah. It's very difficult when Jude's got the freedom of the pitch and Phil's having to go from pressing out wide to come in midfield. The ball's not coming. He's playing with Trippier, who is right-footed. He needs Shaw to go and overlap so he can get them combinations. It's just sad to see because this season has been immense. It's been immense.
Yes.
Watch Man City every other week, and the stuff that he's doing for Man City, we need to see it in
I love that you try to defend him. Seriously, I get your point totally, but a player of this class, a player of this level, of this talent, for me sometimes doesn't even need to be told by the coach what he needs to do. He needs to want it more than the rest. And for me today, it showed that Jude is a little bit above him in this regard, and he needs to get this personality back and do what he does in Manchester City.
So I think Jude has come into this team and said, and his body language has said to everybody, give me the ball or I will go nuts. You'll be told, give me the ball now. Like, that's his attitude. And I think Phil's he's a little bit kind of seen that, and he's like almost like his personality isn't that, and he's allowing somebody else to come in and be the dominant figure in this team. And I agree. I think Phil should be saying, no, you give me the ball. And his positions he takes up, he's aggressive, running off the ball to demand the ball will determine whether you get the ball or not. It's not about someone's personality off the pitch who's a quiet guy and that's just him. Scholesy was the most quietest man I played with, but on the pitch, he's persona, he's quality, but also he's the way he demanded the ball, the positions he took up, meant you have to give him the ball.
It's interesting you mention Paul Scholes though, because you go back to kind of your era when Scholes was kind of forced to play on the left-hand side and spend it going out, and that didn't really work either, did it?
It didn't work at all. You know, 4-4-2 system at the time.
Do you think do you think he's like a fish out of water?
It's a conundrum. I totally agree with Seth. At this moment, Bellingham smells it, he feels it, he's drafting the opportunity to be the main man. But with the quality of Foden, it's just disappointing that we're not being able to get the best out of him. He played in the number 10 role in the Iceland game. He didn't play very well, but I would like to get him more opportunities in that role.
All players have dips in form. You can go, things change, a little bit of spark, a little bit of magic. Let's get the England manager's view. Here's Gareth Southgate with Kelly.
Well, Gareth, 3 points on the opening game is exactly what you wanted, but was that a little bit less comfortable in the end than you'd have liked?
Well, than we'd have liked, but that's the reality of tournaments. You know, they're a strong team. We had to suffer a bit, which I think is really good for us. You know, to come through and defend our box the way we did under pressure was important for the group. We obviously had good chances to extend the lead and to kill the game, which we didn't manage to take. So I was really pleased with a lot of the play, especially the first half. I thought we used the ball really well. Second half we didn't keep it quite as well as we need to, but to get the win and the start that we have is really important.
Jude Bellingham will get the headlines once again for scoring the winner and his overall performance. You said before the game that you wanted to see him make those runs into the box. Did we see exactly what he can do for England tonight?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he writes his own scripts, doesn't he? He just you know, the timing of his runs. It was a super bit of play in the build-up to the goal as well. And I thought at different moments all of our forward players looked dangerous, did a really good job for the team.
How do you get them then to score more goals to kill those games off earlier?
Well, today was just the finishing, you know, and a good save from the goalkeeper from the header towards the end. But that will come, you know. I'm confident we'll score goals. You know, playing against the back five, it's not easy to create chances, but we did, and you know, in the end, one was enough. And as I said, I like the fact that we had to suffer a bit without the ball, because I think that's an area of the game we've worked on a lot this week, and we were obviously so much better than we were last week with doing that.
Trent Alexander-Arnold had almost 17 minutes in midfield. How did you feel that went, and in particular how it went when the game changed in that second half?
Well, good. I mean, I have to say, you know, he's been really diligent in getting his positioning right, balancing off. Obviously, Jude goes forward a lot, so I thought Trent adapted and adjusted to his positioning really well. Used the ball well, obviously had a really good effort on goal. In the end, we wanted some fresh legs in there, and Connor obviously can get to the ball quickly, and we've got a squad and we need to use it.
Thanks, Utah.
What do you make of what he said?
Yeah, I think when he watches it, he might have a little bit of a different bit of feedback for us on that. I think the way that we reacted second half to a bit of pressure on our team, I think he wouldn't be completely happy with that, and I think he'd want us to kind of react in a more positive way with the ball and play a bit higher and be more aggressive and try and control the game for larger parts. But I understand it's the first game. There is going to be problems and issues and stuff you've got to iron out, and that hopefully happens in the next couple of games.
We're only talking like this because we've got so much faith in the young squad that we have. You know, we're talking like England have lost the game.
The fact that we want more when England have won a game is probably quite a good sign.
Exactly that. It's just when you've got this array of talent, you want to come out here, bring the club form to international level, and it's not always easy. You'll know that. You said it was hard, and then you got into the team, and you played well. You started winning things. It's not easy to translate from club to country. I get that, but we've got an array of talent now where we've got a real chance. I said yesterday that in terms of individual quality, I think England have the best squad, but I just don't feel we're the best team at this moment. So that's where the frustration comes from.
In a tournament, you can grow into it, can't you, Cesc, as well? And if you were in Gareth Southgate's shoes now, what would you be thinking, looking ahead to the Denmark game on Thursday, and what would you like to kind of tell his players about? What should he be doing?
I'd be thinking that, you know, there are many positive things that we have to look at, that we have to analyze and we have to get better at. But as I said, I maintain my position on what I said before. I could grow on what we are building, especially on those 30-35 minutes, and get better. Okay, I know that dominate 90 minutes it's impossible. Basically nowadays in football, everyone studies everyone. The line is very, very thin. Once you drop, you make a change. Anything can change and happen. But you know, I could go even more bold. You know, like you said before the game. Even now, you say, okay, that's not being greedy or trying to be too smart. But okay, it worked. Try to stay the same, but think even a little bit more positive. Be a little bit braver even, because you've got the talent. When I see players of this caliber, of this talent, of this quality, I get excited because I say I want more and I want to see more. And I'm not saying it to say. I generally think that this team is capable to play at another level and do very well in this tournament.
They won 3 points.
Yeah, and as I said, we're talking about this, it might seem like a bit of a negative mood, but it's just because we expect, like Michael was saying, we expect and we want so much more, and we're fans and we want to be successful, and we want to win the trophy, but...
You pummeled yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. I went 3-0 early, easy, cigar out, chilling, but reality kicks in, and it is realism to this, is that it's going to be tough, there are going to be difficult moments, but I think we have got the players who can actually ride out those moments, and we've just got to put ourselves in a good position now. Take the 3 points, we've won the game, delighted.
Okay, a good way to finish. It's just starting to rain, so it's good timing. England not quite on song, but they're off to a winning start thanks to, hey, Bellingham.
Preparation's been amazing. There's only one thing on the mind tonight, and that's to win.
The right mentality, the right emotional approach, especially the first game, that is hugely important.
Volume 9. Volume 6. Volume 15.
Energy, running in behind, great attitude, looking very dangerous. Would be an England game without a little bit of suffering and anxiety with it. And it's off the bar! Fabulous save. To stand tall here, England are under huge pressure. All over. One goal wins it for England.
She's the traitor?
You're the biggest traitor. You're the traitor. Shut up.
Welcome to the Twitter!
I'll be honest.
Well, that's good. Let's take him out.
Don't forget everywhere.
The Traitors US. Press red for all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
What exactly do you do all day?
I chase down stories.
You know, son, chase it.
Other people are relying on you now. You are the way this ends.
Tokyo Vice. Press red for all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
Now, the BBC Weekend News with Rita Chakrabarti.
Tonight, England emerged victorious in their opening Euros match against Serbia. The only goal came in the first half with a fine header from Jude Bellingham, to the relief of fans.
A win's a win, so can't complain.
I thought it was a good game, but I don't think it was very strong.
I'll be live pitchside here in Gelsenkirchen, where England can celebrate victory, but they'll know they'll have to improve quickly if they're to make a real impression on this tournament.
Also tonight, international support for Ukraine at the end of a diplomatic summit. But without Russia at the table, what is it worth? A police driver who twice rammed a young cow roaming the streets in Surrey has been removed from frontline duties. And Andy Murray on his eventual retirement. He says finishing at Wimbledon or the Paris Olympics would be fitting. Good evening. England England passed their first test at the Euros in Germany with a win against Serbia. The only goal from Jude Bellingham reflected a strong England performance in the first half, but the going got tougher in the second half. Well, let's cross straight to our sports editor Dan Rowan, who's in Gelsenkirchen for us now. Dan.
Rita, it's interesting, in the build-up to this tournament, Gareth Southgate, ahead of his fourth and possibly final finals in charge, had warned to England's fans that this would not be easy against a dangerous-looking Serbia side, and so it proved. Lunchtime in Gelsenkirchen, and England fans already making themselves heard as they flocked, full of Euros confidence.
We're going to win it. It's coming home. It has to be our year this year. We say it every time.
We're just really excited to be here. Can't wait to get in that ground. It's our time. It's our time. It's coming home.
Among the chants was one referencing Germany's wartime past, which the authorities have urged fans not to sing. Later, more unsavoury scenes ahead of a match deemed high risk by the authorities, following reports of scuffles, the local police saying there'd been an altercation between fans from England and Serbia in the city, with 7 Serbians arrested. But for most supporters, the mood was one of excitement about a team seen by many as tournament favourites. Here in Germany's industrial heartland, the real work about to begin for England to prove they could finally deliver. Among the host of world-class stars that England now possess, none shines brighter than Jude Bellingham. And after a stellar season with Real Madrid, the 20-year-old carried on where he'd left off, providing England with the perfect start. The manager unable to contain his excitement. England seemed in control, but Serbia have threats of their own. Aleksandar Mitrovic proved a handful during his time in the Premier League, and the striker almost got the better of the English defence. And with half-time approaching, the Serbians again posed a danger through Sasa Lukic's cross. John Stones doing just enough to keep England ahead. Much had been made of the decision to play defender Trent Alexander-Arnold in the centre of midfield, and the Liverpool man tested the Serbian keeper from distance. But the underdogs were growing into the match, England living dangerously. The favourites were struggling for momentum. The manager turned to Jared Bowen, who quickly made an impression, crossing perfectly for Harry Kane. It's off the bar! But the captain, who'd had a subdued performance, was denied brilliantly by Predrag Rajkovic. Serbia may be ranked 33rd in the world, but here they were matching a lacklustre England.
Oh, great save, Jordan Pickford.
Dusan Vlahovic's fierce shot forcing Jordan Pickford into action. But England held on.
We knew it was going to be a tight game. I know there's been a lot of goals in the other game, but I think we try and keep to our own standards and try and play the opposition that's in front of us and not kind of the theme of the tournament, if you like. So important that we got off to a start. So positive inside the counter, but on to the next one.
They may have had a winning start to their campaign here, and with sterner tests ahead, they'll need to improve if they're to justify their billing as genuine contenders. Dan Rowan, BBC News, Gelsenkirchen.
Well, the match was watched by millions of fans across England. Our correspondent Dan Johnson has spent the evening with supporters at a pub in Leeds.
So there we are. England are underway. Hundreds of people are here at this pub in Leeds. Mick and Andy, what do you reckon? Are you confident?
Confident, very confident. Absolutely 3-0 tonight, and I think we're going all the way. Come on, England! We're going to win! Come on, England!
I'm going to say 3-1 to England.
Confident?
Very confident.
And how far are they going to go in the tournament?
They're going to go to finals because they're bringing it home.
And they didn't have long to wait. There's our time. England in the lead. What do you reckon, Joe?
3-0. Still saying 3-0.
You pleased with the performance so far?
Very good. Masterclass.
Ready, go!
I was expecting us to just pass it around the halfway line while they defend with 10 men, but they came out and then played a game a bit too fair to them, so yeah, good start.
But it turned a bit damp in the second half.
Harry Kane's first chance of the match.
This was the nearest anybody got.
That's full time then. Let's find out what the West Yorkshire Whippets women's football team made of that England performance. What do you reckon, Tash? Impressed?
Not really. I think that after the loss to Iceland on Friday, I think we needed a big result, and I don't think that was really what we wanted.
Gareth's going to be a little bit disappointed with that, but I think we've got some great players we didn't see tonight. We've got potential.
Confident for the tournament now? Have you seen that?
A bit wobbly, but I think that we could win. We can still win.
Nice one. Good start here. Thank you. It's all eyes on Denmark on Thursday. Dan Johnson, BBC News, Leeds. Here we go.
Let's go back now to Dan Rowan in Gelsenkirchen. So some cautious optimism there from the fans. How is England's win being assessed?
It wasn't pretty, Rita, but it was enough. They ground out a crucial win. It's important, of course, to get off to a winning start. It's the kind of game, perhaps, before Southgate that England may have drawn or even lost. It's the fourth time in these four major tournaments, in fact, that England have won that crucial opening game, and they'll now hope they can grow into it. It was a strange performance. First half, England were really good, first half hour in particular. Bellingham majestic, as we've heard. A lot of the attention will be on him once again. Of course, Saka as well, very dangerous too. But after the restart, Serbia were much more energetic, came into it, and I think it will worry England that they looked a little leggy at times. There will be a debate, I think, around whether or not the team was balanced with Alexander-Arnold in midfield, but Southgate will look at that and be glad, I think, to have got off to a winning start. He's been speaking to us in the last few moments.
We obviously had good chances to extend the lead and to kill the game, which we didn't manage to take. So I was really pleased with a lot of the play, especially the first half. I thought we used the ball really well. Second half we didn't keep it quite as well as we need to, but to get the win and the start that we have is really important.
Gareth Southgate speaking there. Well, the good news for him is that England top Group C, and they will be through to the second round if they beat Denmark in Frankfurt on Thursday. So far so good for them. The performance needs to improve, but will this be a performance that sends fear into the hearts of the likes of France or Germany or Spain? Not at this stage.
Okay, Dan Rowan, many thanks. And in today's other matches, the Netherlands scored a late winner to beat Poland 2-1. And it was a special night for Denmark's Christian Eriksen. He scored on his first Euros appearance since suffering a cardiac arrest during a game at the tournament 3 years ago. His side drew 1-1 with Slovenia and will play England on Thursday. Now in other news, President Zelensky has said that Ukraine would hold peace talks with Russia tomorrow if Moscow's troops left his country. But he said Vladimir Putin would not end the war and had to be stopped in any way possible. He was speaking at the end of a conference in Switzerland in which delegates from about 90 countries discussed proposals for peace. But some key countries that have maintained relations with Moscow didn't sign the final communique. Our Eastern Europe correspondent Sarah Rainsford reports.
It was to this Swiss mountain retreat that politicians came this weekend to talk peace, to discuss ending the biggest conflict in Europe since the Second World War.
Thank you very much.
What they achieved was a joint declaration affirming Ukraine's right not to be invaded, but some, including Saudi Arabia and India, didn't sign up. Vladimir Zelensky is still hailing a great success, arguing the world must meet Russia's full-scale invasion with full-scale diplomacy.
You worried that international support for Ukraine on the battlefields, to win this on the battlefield, is weakening, and that's why you're talking peace?
It is not because we are weaker that we are talking about peace. We've always called for peace. At the peak of war, we were talking about peace. We wanted the world to pressure Russia to end this war and to stop killing us.
But Ukraine's forces are under pressure on the battlefield. And ahead of this summit, Vladimir Putin issued his own peace proposal that was in fact a call for capitulation. Instead, Kiev is trying to seize the initiative.
The hardest day for me was my birthday.
The talks here focused on the easier issues to agree on, like the need to return soldiers and civilians from Russian captivity.
Was beaten and tortured every day, twice.
Maxime was held for 11 months. But he told me the attempt to hammer out a peace plan now is not about abandoning the fight.
We have enough people, we have enough will, we have enough brain to fight, and we just need weapons.
Ukraine didn't get the unreserved support here it was hoping for, but it did get the chance to stress its key message, that Russia only understands strength on the battlefield or in diplomacy. Sarah Rainsford, BBC News, Lake Lucerne.
In the election campaign, the battle between Labour and the SNP for votes in Scotland is at its fiercest in Glasgow. For half a century, Labour routinely won dozens of Scottish seats in the mainly working-class industrial central belt. But that all changed a decade ago with a surge in support for the SNP. Now, though, polls suggest a Labour revival may be on the cards. In the first of several reports across the country during this campaign, our Scotland editor James Cook has been speaking to voters in Glasgow.
Come with me on a journey through a changing city. Glasgow was a Labour stronghold for more than half a century, but a decade ago there was a dramatic shift. The Scottish National Party surged, and so did support for independence.
This was a Labour city for years, Glasgow.
Scottish.
And you would have been a Labour man?
Obviously, my dad was a Labour man, and his dad was a Labour man, but what they've done is they changed their values. And just now, if you're voting for Labour and you're voting for Tory, there's no difference, as far as I'm concerned.
So you're going to vote SNP?
Without a doubt, because I'm Scottish, and I think it's the only way forward, and I want the best future for my kids.
But are those views typical at this election? Labour hopes not, as it tries to win back all 6 seats in the city.
I've had to pick who I think is the most honest one out of the lot. I get the impression that Keir Starmer is more genuine, but I would vote Labour anyway. But again, they're saying they might put taxes up and all that, but I think the country's got their problems regardless of who's in government.
It's always been bad. I mean, there's still a lot of things that are expensive, not, but now it's got 10 times worse, and you just need to get looking the shelves and you see, you know, I know these food banks. I've never been so many food banks in my life.
What are you thinking about this election?
It's a bit of a riot. So it is, I think. The Conservatives don't really care much about Scotland. Neither does Labour. Don't think SNP has Scotland's best interests at heart, but it's just a bad bunch right now.
So you're going to stick with the SNP?
Yeah, unfortunately. But I've got to go.
That's your stop?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We've been on the number 61 for a good couple of hours now, and all along the route, the same concerns are coming up about the cost of living, about the health service, about immigration, and also about the state of the city. I've had to sum up the mood and say that people are pretty frustrated and unhappy about the way things are going locally and nationally.
You can sense that frustration all over Glasgow, including here in the cosmopolitan cafes of the south side.
What are you thinking? Are you excited about this general election? I'm definitely excited to hopefully see the back of the Tories. Still debating on who to vote for, but yeah, excited that hopefully it goes the right way.
I decided to change my allegiance to SNP for a short time, and I really like Nicola Sturgeon and very good leader. But with all that's gone on recently, I'm not very happy with the SNP, so I am now reverting to Labour.
I think SNP are a wee bit of a disaster just now.